All right. 3, 2, 1.
Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Howdy and welcome back to Core. This is Core for Thursday, November 10th, 2022. We talk about video games, big news, stuff in the middle, and the games we're playing every week, and a whole lot more. So we're really glad to have you here with us. Before we dive in with me, Scott Johnson, Bo Schwartz, and John Jagger, we got to talk about this shitty McDonald's gaming chair. Can we do that for a second? Like, this is a horrid. My gosh. Like, all right, look, the idea here is, first of all, it's a bad design. The bucket seat ones are bad on your back. They don't have good lumbar. At least this one doesn't appear to have it. But here's what they're doing. It's all branded and colored up to look like McDonald's stuff. Got the logo smeared all over it and all that. But it's grease resistant.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's the big kicker.
Like resistant, but still, if you get grease on it, there's still going to be a slick.
But where does the grease go? Is there just going to be puddles around the base of the chair now?
I worked at a McDonald's, and so I know when the meat fryers, there's 2 troughs on either side, and that's where the grease goes. And then you dump them in a giant vat of hardened grease out in the back of the belly. It smells awful. So I assume it's the same here. There's 2 troughs on either side of the seat.
They got a cup holder and like a burger space holder on the other side. There's a little pillow.
Oh boy.
They got bags on it for like throwing stuff away, I guess. And they do have a lumbar pillow, but I don't trust that stuff. It says, here's what it says. The worst part of McDonald's is selling the seat on its grease-resistant leather treatment. It says, so no need, this is the quote on the material, so no need to worry about spills and stains. So there you go, guys.
Hang on, I got a blast from the Bose Pass to share with you here.
Oh, share it. What do you get? What is it?
Just glad I found it so quickly. It's a photo of me working at McDonald's.
Oh, what?
The aforementioned working at the beef grill with the grease.
Oh, look at you, dude. Hold on. We got to share this.
Yeah, I was a lot thinner back then. God, I was a good looking man. What the
Do you have like
happened?
a full welder's hat for the
yeah, that's a plastic mask. Yeah, so the grease doesn't splash back onto my face because I'm cleaning it. That's why I have the plastic apron on as well. And that metal thing I'm holding is you know how you scrape the carbon off the top of the fryer.
Who took
and
the
you
picture?
do it while it's hot, so that's why that's on. And that red thing there is not a bag of blood; it's a bag of ketchup.
Oh, bag of ketchup. Okay, I was going to ask.
Who took this picture and why did they?
Stephen Hawking took the photo, didn't he? That's what happened.
So I think it was my girlfriend Salma at the time. We worked together. That's how we met. So I think she took the photo.
Okay. All right. And did you guys like go out later and you just both smelled like fries all night, or what? How'd that work?
Yeah, we laughed about it. Hey, don't share this one because probably I can't share pictures of people.
I see.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, we'll keep this.
I thought you were about to tell us like a dark story or something, and I was like, "Well, we're live."
Yeah. Plus, you were saying you were like,
no, I'm just sharing.
And I thought you were retro saying it about this photo, and I'm like, you just did the thing where you say, "Please cut the green wire, but first cut the red wire," and I'm like, no, bomb's already going off. Okay, well, she looks very nice. Look at her. Oh, what a lovely human. I think you told me about her before.
Yeah, she's great. We were together for a number of years, and
look at your little what's that called? Little
soul patch.
Soul patch. Look at you.
Yeah, soul patch guy, clit tickler that they used to call it.
Oh, jeez. All right.
I've never heard it called that till now, but now I have.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my Trailer Park Boys life, you know.
Sure.
Oops, sorry.
He had piss jugs. That's he's a trailer park guy. Yeah.
Sorry, is that too adult for the show?
It's pretty adult.
I often forget kids listen, but hey,
children,
not anymore. We got rid of them on this episode, so now we can say whatever we want.
That's right. Kids or parents, tell your kids. Explain what Uncle Bo just said, and it'll all be fine. I think that's amazing. All right. So anyway, that chair's dumb. Oh, was there a price? It's expensive, if I remember right, and I can't find the price. Crap. Is there a price? Oh, there's a competition.
Yeah, hopefully it's not expensive.
I'm gonna say $300.
Yeah, probably $300
for that chair.
I bet John's right, somewhere in that range. I can't find it though. But that's okay because I'm never buying that dumb thing ever.
No, that's terrible.
It's really bad.
That's an awful thing, and I'm shocked that this is where we're starting today. But if we can, just before we move on, and other quick news, you played one of my favorite clips to start the show, Resident Evil.
Oh, this here?
Jill.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
And I just want to say, do you think the direction they gave Barry, if the actor was like, "What can you tell me about this Barry character?" and they're like, "Well, he's a man that gets incredibly bored halfway through his sentences."
Mm. Yeah, you got, I think that's the guy.
One more time.
Let's
this
hear
is
it.
a guy who has lost interest in what he has to say.
Now that you've heard the way John described that, like that's possibly the working relationship he had with the voice director. Now listen to it with those ears. All right, here.
Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Yeah, he's just.
I think you can just hear audible sighs in his dialogue. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking,
Oh, I love
take
it.
it with you.
You know why I used it today? It's because you're playing some DLC we're going to talk about later, and I don't know, it felt appropriate.
Master
I
of
hope you get to
unlocking.
play it, man.
I
Oh,
may. I mean, there's talk. Those dolls are really pushing me in one direction, though. All right. Well, on that note, let's get to our big news. Well, there's a big story here. I mean, honestly, it's kind of a quiet week, if we're honest. It hasn't been a ton of like breaking holy crap news in the games world. But there was.
Billionaires aside, we won't be talking about that.
Yeah. That whole thing. Well, we did in pre-show. So, hey, if you're a patron, you got a mouthful today. Go check that out. Or an earful. Nothing about your mouth. I'm thinking of McDonald's.
Yeah,
stuff.
right. Earful. You said it. And I didn't. I was like, yes.
I don't know what I was saying. Anyway, John Wick is in the news for two reasons. One, there's a trailer out for Chapter 4, the new movie. It looks great and stupid and wonderful, and I can't wait. But also, there has been rumors upon rumors, and it sounds like this is actually possibly happening. There's going to be a John Wick AAA video game. Whatever that means, which is the reason I'm bringing it up, because I think we can have a little bit of fun here talking about what we want out of that. My guess is it's a shooter, if I had to guess, because they're shooting.
Well, you mean first
What
person
makes you
shooter,
say
or?
something so bold, Scott?
I would say first person, although I think a tactical behind the back third person might be more fun with like cover mechanics or something. It just feels like it would fit the character better than just a straight up first person shooter. I mean, you can have
like a blend of. It's like a blend of both, like because he's a martial artist as well, right?
Yeah, that's true, and he's really good at this stuff for this movie, like his training, or you always hear about the trainers who taught him how to be, rolling around with a gun and a sword at the same time, and choreographing these crazy action scenes. They're all always raving about Keanu's ability in that arena. So I feel like you want to let him be a little athletic, a little parkourish, if possible. And I like third-person games versus first when it comes to that kind of gameplay. But there's also, by the way, there's another John Wick game. It's called John Wick Hex. What is it? Hold on.
Oh, the one that
that's
came
right.
out, the one that was like a turn-based bit of business.
Yeah, it's a Hex something. It's a turn-based game that was well reviewed. Oh, here it is, John Wick Hex, and it was made by let's see, Mike Bethel. He directed that. He's known for Thomas Was Alone and some other stuff. Oh yeah, we talked about him recently. Anyway, that was a cool game. Came out in 2019. It was an Epic only thing at the time. I think it's everywhere now, and people really quite liked it, if I remember right. Let's see. It was nominated for a bunch of awards. I don't know, 75 out of 100 on Metacritic. That seems decent. Anyway, the point is, like, it's not like his first time to the show, and I actually kind of like they went with more of like an XCOM approach, and it was unique because you would hide behind a cover, and then your next move you'd have to kind of plan out to be, are you going to roll over the thing, pop that guy, pop that guy, and then slug him with all your action points, or are you going to go a different way, and then it would play out the way you said? It's pretty cool. But maybe they can recreate that in a more action-focused shooter. I don't know. But let's just go around. I mean, John, if you were making the AAA John Wick game, what do you want most? What do you want out of that thing?
I think to me, the key elements that make John Wick is one, you have to have kind of aggressive bullet management. You can't have a game where ammo is just constantly plentiful, because when I think of John Wick, I think of him having to reload, having to take the time to reload, or decide if, you know what, I can't reload this gun, I'm dropping it and picking up another gun, and then I'm going to keep going, and that'll get me by for a little bit. And that's what I'm going to use. And so I kind of feel like it needs to be a game where you're just not running over ammo constantly and never running out of bullets. Like, it's a game where maybe you're kitted up heavy at the beginning, and by the end you're like, I'm gonna kill this guy so I can take his gun so I can fight these other guys here. The other thing I think I associate with John Wick is the double tap and getting headshots,
right,
stuff like that. So I think it needs to be, you can't have bullet sponge enemies, except for maybe, you know, like later levels. Although I'll tell you, when they introduced in John Wick 3, I think it was, the people that were just wearing full body armor and he had to really focus on getting them in the face, that was the least I liked the movie. I didn't love that, but they certainly have, like, you can see types where it's like, okay, these are heavily armored guys, you gotta shoot them in the face and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think of, you know, it's gonna have to be something where you got lots of bad guys.
Yeah.
And they go down pretty easy because they're just people.
Right.
But
yeah,
there's
no health, no deep health pools. It's a puzzle. It's a
Yeah.
combat puzzle game.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. Yeah.
Because I also think part of what makes John Wick a hallmark is creative use of the environment. Like, if it's just guns and martial arts, it's not John Wick either.
Oh,
Like, it's like,
interesting.
there's a piece of glass. I'm gonna grab the piece of glass and stab the like whatever's available. It has to be like a puzzle game. That's why I think the hex thing sort of makes sense, but on a AAA basis, I think it needs to reward. It can't just be an interactable, like glass. Press X to use glass. Okay, great. Yeah. It's just a,
Yeah.
you know, it needs to be. There's a piece of glass there. There's a broken stick. There's actually there's like a wall thing, and you threw a guy through it, and it made broken sticks, and now you can take the broken stick out and shove it in the guy's eyeball, right? Like, so I think John's right. No bullet sponges, limited ammo, creative use of environment, puzzle game.
Interesting. I think I'm for both. You both kind of convinced me that's what I want to. I don't think, even if it's first person, that's still what I want.
The AAA budget. When they talk AAA budget, it means they're going to pour it into graphics. So we're getting more Lawrence Fishburne and Ian McShane, which I'm not complaining. And Lance, what's his name? Riddick?
Lance Riddick,
Hendrick?
yeah. Or Lance, not Riddick. Riddick?
I know his name's Lance. I just don't remember his last name. Hendricks, maybe.
No, that's Lance Hendrickson, who plays Bishop.
Well, the guy from The Wire, Lance.
Yeah, it's Reddick. REDDIK.
Reddick. Yeah, Lance Reddick's great.
That guy's awesome.
You know, like, get mocap those guys. Like, that's probably where a lot of the budget's going to. But, you know, you talk AAA, I'm like, let's make sure we have lots of interactables. Wouldn't mind a VR version, but we'll leave that alone.
I wondered if you were going to bring it up.
But even just for a flat screen game, like, make it a puzzle game. Like, that's what John Wick's superpower is solving the combat puzzle before anybody else can, and then following up with his strength and dexterity. But
yeah, I think I agree. I think those sound good. I don't know what they're making. It's still not totally confirmed, but they better hurry. Isn't Chapter 4 the last movie? I think that's it.
No, I think they're confirmed.
I think there's a 5.
Is there a 5th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not only have they confirmed 5, but then I also think John Wick is confirmed to be appearing in some other movie.
Oh.
A tie-in.
I hope they don't overdo it.
He's in Secret Wars.
They gotta.
He's gonna show up. He's gonna just be in there with everybody.
Why not?
Else.
He would actually kind of maybe hold his own. I mean, it is very implausible the amount of encounters he survived.
I still think
fantasy.
Yeah.
One day we get just like a crazy cool Assassins Avengers movie, and you've got Keanu as John Wick, and you've got Saul Goodman. I don't know why I can't think of his name from Nobody in there.
Yeah, I can't think of his name either.
He's in there.
Bob
doing
Odenkirk.
His thing. Bob Odenkirk. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the movie that John Wick's supposedly going to be in. I think it's called. Is it The Ballerina? Something like that.
So it's a spinoff with a character. Is it a character we know? Like it's a girl.
But I think he's in it. I think it's like in universe sort of deal.
Oh, okay. I'm fine with them expanding on that. I just don't want them to overstay their welcome if they get lazy. Like I want them to really go for it. I want this director's next project was something cool. What was it? Oh shite! I'll have to look that up. He's on to something else, which means it sounds like it may be handed
Bullet
off.
Train, or am I?
No, it was the producers may have been shared there, but this director is a separate dude. Let's see. Let me just look real quick. John Wick. He got some hot new deal, and I can't remember what it was. It was a big whoop. Here it is. Chad Stiletsky, or however you say his name. His next thing is not Deadpool. Hold on, that's stunts director. Is it Black Samurai? Oh, Highlander. That's what it was. He's making a Highlander remake.
Yeah.
And he's got it looks like Henry Cavill is going to be the Highlander. It's got the Kurgan was somebody cool. I forgot. Oh, Dave Bautista is currently rumored as the Kurgan guy. I mean, that sounds all right. I think I'm in on this guy making it, but he may be busy is my point. And who's going to make chapter 5? Because he's not listed for chapter 5.
They might be filming 4 and 5 together.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it's a fair point.
I know season 2 of I read somewhere that season 2 of Andor is already done shooting as well.
I mean, he's only made 1, 2, 3. This will be his 4th film, and they're all John Wick movies.
He was the stunt double in the Matrix film.
Yeah, he was a stunt guy. I guess that's
but he was literally Keanu's stunt double. He's in the Matrix. If you stop, you see when it's not Keanu. It's pretty obvious when it's not Keanu in the movie.
Yeah.
It's that guy.
He was also second unit director for Captain America: Civil War, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that this is just where you started? Something that becomes this beloved. Like that's pretty cool.
It is great, right? Like you spend all your life getting beat up in stunts, and then you're like, I think I'll make a cool movie with a guy who can ninja with a gun, basically. And then he does.
I hope people like it, and now it's a franchise.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool to be that guy, who, by the way, is my age. See? Never stop. Never stop trying, everybody. Keep at it. One day.
What's fun about John Wick is that he's a terrible person. He's a hitman. I don't think hitmen in real life are very wonderful.
Well, he was.
You know, like,
he gave it up.
I don't see myself being like, he kills people for a living, but he's a good friend.
He's a good pal.
You know, like it's like, and not only does he a hitman, he has killed the most people ever of all time, first-handed. Like, it's
he's
like
the best of
but somehow he's the guy who's like, oh, he lost his dog, they killed his dog, and he killed his girlfriend. I'm like, how many girlfriends? It
was his wife, but yeah, he was married. But
his wife, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, it's just funny how movies are. It's like, he's the hero. He lost so much, and like literally his kill count is like 5 million. Like,
I think the way it works is he's an unlikely hero because he had that horrible past. He gave it up for marriage and dog life, and then he got pulled back in. And so now he's like, oh, he has to now. Now it's just about revenge.
Out of
marriage and dog life.
Dog
I don't
life.
know why, but that made that sentence sounded so normal when it came out, and then I just started thinking about what's dog life.
I think.
Sorry, man, I got to give it up. I got dog life now.
I got to worry about dog life.
I root for him. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad for liking John Wick. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's funny how it's just we root for him. I'm like,
we got a few heroes like that. I think we got like
you got Riddick.
Got Darth
Chat
Vader.
says Wolverine. Wolverine's a good one.
Vader's decent as an answer to that, although
he's a hero.
It's
he
more
did one good thing.
He fought in the Clone Wars. He think of all the wars he fought in for the good of the Galactic Republic.
That's true. I'm trying to think.
Anakin's a hero.
I'm trying to think of something that's more like, hey, I lived a dastardly life and now I don't. Well, nobody was that movie basically.
Yeah,
which was a lot like John Wick. I don't mean that
nobody
as a slight.
is another John Wick movie, but with Bob Odenkirk. Like it's fantastic
and it's great. No complaints.
It's just a fun part of movies. I know you overanalyze it, you ruin it, but like literally, I mean, every Arnold movie is like this too. It's like it's okay that he's murdering people. He's the good guy.
Yeah.
Like no matter what happened. And I'm watching John Wick always, I think the first one was kind of okay because they didn't paint him as much to be the good guy. But I feel as the sequels go on, he's the underdog, good guy, just angel of death, and
Well, it's 'cause
you
they're
know, I'm
all-
like, I enjoy the choreography and I like the action, but I'm always like, this guy's an asshole. Like that's how I think about John Wick. I'm never like, this guy's the hero. I'm like, wait, this guy's
He's got a giant box of gold. You know, he's gonna go.
It's all in how it's framed, right? Like, think of the original movie Alien.
Mhm.
And in that movie, spoilers, it's a little old, so it's okay. You know, he gets the face hugger attached to him. They want to bring him on the ship. Sigourney Weaver says, no, we're not going to bring him on the ship. They're like, oh, it's to save his life. And she's like, no, it's against regulations. And then they let him in anyway. And everybody universally goes, man, they should have listened to Sigourney Weaver. Like, what? Everybody else is such an asshole. But I'm telling you, you do that same movie where you care more about the guy who gets the face hugger, where he's the hero of the story, and she would be the worst character in the movie. His life was in danger, and she didn't want to let him on the ship. You know, it's so easy to just shift the framing. And the exact same narrative, all of a sudden, now the person you're rooting for is the villain. It doesn't take much.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think you're really supposed to root for John Wick. I think you're just supposed to enjoy the movie. But it's just, I always find it funny the way the whole impetus is. It's simple, right? Killed my wife, I'm gonna get revenge.
Yep.
Killed my dog, I'm gonna get revenge. It's just a revenge movie.
Yeah.
And
Marriage
it's fine.
and dog
It's
life.
great. But it's just, I'm just, sometimes it just feels like they kind of slant things. You know, like Godfather, the Godfather trilogy. Nobody's a good guy or bad guy. They're all just the characters they are, right?
Well, maybe he's
I
just
always
it's-
find it's the one hero versus the hordes of.
He's looking for redemption. That's
bad
that's
guys.
the idea, right? You got to get
Yeah.
redemption somehow. And John Wick is on the path to redemption. How is he doing it? By killing a load more people.
I mean, at
Yeah.
some point he's got to
Dog
find
time.
Jesus.
Dog life.
Like that's how the movie ends, right? He has one more person to kill.
Yeah.
And then he says, "No, what would Jesus do?" And he puts the gun down, and he gets killed, and that's his redemption.
Oh
He's
man,
like,
you may have just spoiled the chapter 5. I don't know. Maybe you did.
maybe I don't know, but I feel like you know, he's killed so many people. It's like, who else? Unless they start getting into like, that's the other thing that's funny about the movie. It's like it's the secret lives of hitmen. I'm like, how do you hide 5,000 corpses? Like, no, these are all police that bad? You know what I mean? It's like,
It's a different universe, though. It's like it's
oh, it's not like present fiction. It's like it's a Marvel parallel universe.
Sorta,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like yes.
I mean,
Okay,
it
That's
is.
like-
an interesting theory.
There's
I
a whole hitman economy. Like,
yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like,
But it's
like,
still set
it
in
seemed
our
realistic.
world.
The first movie was a little bit okay, believable, and they're like, oh, we need to put a head on John Wick, and everyone's got typewriters and CRT monitors, and I'm like, okay, wait a second, we got into comic book land, which is fine.
That's fine
Which
too.
is
I
fine,
agree. It didn't do
but
it.
it was a shift.
Yeah, it was a shift. I agree
Yeah.
with that. It was a shift. And also, my biggest complaint about the series is a dumb one, but I'll say it. I think Leguizamo should be in all of these, and he was just the
Yeah.
mechanic in the first one, and he should have stuck around for other stuff because I really like that guy, and I don't
love
know
me
why.
some leg.
Yeah, Leguizamo. You're a Leguizamo man. a leg
Leguizamo.
man.
I love me some leg. I don't know why I said that. I was just channeling. That's how he's like, right? I think, you broke the car. I gotta fix it again. I think. I don't remember. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit. I don't think that was exactly it, but it was
John
somewhere
Wick's
in the
like,
ballpark.
love me some leg.
Yeah.
yep, that's his famous line.
Well, it'll be fun to see what they do. We'll, of course, talk about it here on the
That's
show.
right. He was Luigi Mario.
He was
Everybody
Luigi
forgets
Mario. Yeah.
Luigi Mario.
And he's in that new Christmas thing, Bloody Night. No, the one with David Harbour as Santa Claus. That looks great. And John Leguizamo's the bad guy that breaks into this house and takes everybody hostage. Have you guys seen the trailer for this?
No, not yet.
Okay,
Nope.
later on, I'll put it in
Nope.
our Discord, and you'll lose your minds. It looks great. It basically,
what's it
you know what
called?
it is? It's like, let's take John Wick, let's take Die Hard, and then let's have an R rating, and then let's jam it into a Christmas movie with a guy who's supposed to be actual real Santa Claus, played by David Harbour. It looks amazing.
Oh wow! Really?
Love David Harbour.
You'll love this
Like,
trailer then.
He's great.
Okay.
He's
I
playing
just get a
actual
kick out
Santa
of it.
Claus in an action movie.
He's playing actual Santa Claus, and the trailer is violent as hell, and it looks
Holy
awesome.
shit! Why haven't we done this yet?
I mean,
That's crazy.
Look.
That's a great idea.
it's. I mean, they sort of
And I
tried.
like David Harbour. It fits.
No, David Harbour's perfect, but they tried to do this with Mel Gibson a couple years ago. I don't know if you guys saw that one.
No.
It wasn't as good. It wasn't
Mel
very
Gibson
good.
is Santa Claus.
Yeah, but the idea was like, oh, Santa's got a bunch of guns and grenades, and he can fight back, and all
I
this.
feel like the problems with Mel Gibson as Santa Claus just write itself. Like I feel like it's an avenue you don't even need to talk about to really understand where this series might have some issues.
I saw it and sort of enjoyed it, but this looks way better than that. So if you haven't seen this trailer, everybody watch it. It's great. It's very, very cool. All right. Hey, let's move on to this email we got from a patron. We started doing these patron showcases. All right. So we got one here from Carl Wilcox, and he says this. What do you think Nintendo needs to do to bring their next console needs to bring to their next console / iteration? In light of the Game Pass Steam Deck world, I would list Nintendo as the weakest offering at this point. I wonder what you think they need to do to be on top again, or if it's even possible for them. I don't think they worry about on top anymore. I think they just want to be Nintendo, and they do Nintendo things, and I think they'll keep doing that. And I think a new iteration of the Switch makes sense. It'll be more powerful. It'll do 4K finally. It'll be a better portable and a better device.
It won't be
to
a
plug
loss
your
leader
TV.
because Nintendo doesn't do loss leaders.
Right. They don't do that. So I think they're probably fine. I think they're going to be fine. The best-selling games in or the top-selling games before Call of Duty hit this year were like Splatoon 3. Mario Kart 8 is still like 5th or 6th on the list of this running total top 10. They're like the Dark Side of the Moon Pink Floyd album of video games. They just never leave the top 40. I think they're fine. It's 2017 is when that thing came out. It's been a bit. I think I'm ready for something new from Nintendo. I'm not that stoked about what they're doing right now, but I think an iteration on the Switch is a good idea. I think them trying to get gimmicky again like they tend to do every other is a bad idea. So I hope they break their trend and don't
What
make
if Nintendo announced a VR headset?
You'd be excited.
What would if they said if tomorrow a
Made
black
out of
and red,
cardboard.
just a black and red like version of Switch, like just something like.
Yeah, but didn't they
What
make
would
that?
you think?
You
Bad
did-
move, good. Okay, would you be like, this is gimmick move? Like,
What if they called it Virtual Boy 2?
Yeah.
Or why not?
Wii Boy.
I would call it a bad move.
I would also do that. There's
That's what I mean. It's not their strength, right? Like experimentation in that way is not their strength. I think.
Look,
you're absolutely
everybody's got something in the works. Whether they ever release anything or not, everyone's got a VR lab right now. All these companies. And I'll bet Nintendo does too. Would they ever release anything? I don't know. I think they're probably watching the market to see what happens.
I'm telling you, it exists. It's made out of cardboard, and you put it together with your kids.
Oh, that's right. They did have that.
Yeah.
I forgot they
and
had
they
that.
they had some AR stuff too, right? Like, didn't they have a racer that was like AR?
Oh yeah, where you build your own Mario Kart and then you
Yeah.
race it around, and it puts the Mario Kart track on top of it.
Wh-
That
what-
was cool, but it was mostly from like actual, like I saw it and I was like, oh man, this is really neat. And I watched a couple people play with it and I was like, this is great. This is really great stuff. And then what it eventually just became was fun cat videos from a Mario Kart perspective.
Yeah.
And people just used them for cat videos and tormenting cats. And that was also good, but probably not the future of technology we were
I think
hoping for.
the main, like, I might have a beef with Nintendo having low tech equipment, but it works for them and their IPs are successful. So my comments are stupid, but they're going to release something when it makes sense. Hopefully that's just Switch 2. They're taking notes on Steam Deck. It might not even be better than Steam Deck, but certainly they're taking notes on Steam Deck because I imagine it'll be Switch 2. It'll be like a Steam Deck, plug into your TV, but also be an awesome handheld.
Yeah.
Hopefully the store carries over and none of this. Well, we're on a new OS. Your games don't work.
See,
here.
that would
Hopefully
be
shit is
that'd be a
done with.
big boon for them actually if they did that. That would be
Yeah,
great.
because your library carrying over is people using your stuff. I think the one thing Nintendo does need to make zany products. They're a toy company. Like that novelty is what they trade on. That's their, even if you laugh at what they do, it's their life bread or what life
Life bread.
It's their life bread.
You know, I changed today's title to
life-
marriage and dog life, but I'm starting to think marriage and dog life isn't as good as life bread.
Life bread.
Well, I think we can have all of it, can't we?
I could put marriage and dog life bread. I guess I could
Dog
do.
life bread.
dog life bread.
The core version of Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah.
Dog life bread.
This is what happens if I take too long to get to my point. I say stupid things, derail everything. The one thing I want to say was they need to release games faster. Their first IP, like it just feels like it takes forever.
Yeah.
For Breath of the Wild to come out. It takes forever to get a Metroid. But meanwhile, we got Bowser's Fury, which I'm sure is great. But it's like
really
we're
good.
looking for every generation of console. We want what? We want a Kirby. We want a Mario. We want a Link. Like we know what everyone wants. The same things. Like freaking launch them faster, please.
Yeah, I think they do spread them out a little bit so that they can, like they just put out numbers that the Kirby game is the highest selling Kirby game of all time, which doesn't surprise me given the Switch's install base. But I agree. I would like these things sooner. Like this Breath of the Wild sequel, I feel like is going to be another crossover. If they don't hurry up, this is going to be another one of these Twilight Princess, or for that matter, Breath of the Wild generational gap games where it's like, well, originally it was made for the Switch, but it'll also now work on the Switch too, just like the first one was originally a Wii U game that also worked on the Switch, and Twilight Princess was a GameCube game that also worked on the Wii. And that's weird to me.
Yeah.
When they do that. So I wish they would be
Especially
because
because their consoles already look and generally run about a generation behind. So then you're getting a game that was from the previous generation, now kind of making its way onto a console that feels a generation behind. But Nintendo's weird. Like, to answer the question directly, what do they need? Nothing. Nintendo continues to succeed despite itself. Like, people who are into video games and all that all have answers about what Nintendo should do. Nintendo's doing fine.
Yeah.
But
do they use a proprietary 3D engine? Sorry to interrupt you, John.
For that game, yeah. Oh, yeah. For Breath of the Wild, absolutely. That's a Nintendo thing.
I just wonder because, they're talking about Unity in the chat room, and I'm like, well, it does save time to use.
I don't think that's Unity.
I wonder how much, when they're making games, they're developing from scratch, or how much spaghetti code it is to work over.
I mean, I think a lot of AAA stuff, unless they say, hey, we've switched to Unreal 5 or whatever, like the way The Witcher's doing, or the CD Projekt Red stuff's moving all to Unreal 5. Prior to that, though, that was their own internal engine. I think in Nintendo's case, this is a home-built thing. Best I know. I could be wrong. Somebody tell us otherwise. But anyway, John, sorry. Where were you? You were saying a thing.
Just that Nintendo is like, they just do their own thing and it works for them. And I think it moves on the value of their IP. And like, we can have answers and we can say like, oh, I'd pay a subscription to have access to, their vault of games, not just a weird selection that they kind of pick and choose. Or, I would buy a system that has proper backwards compatibility, or I wish that they would put out something that technologically was comparable to current gen instead of, the generation previous. But they haven't been doing that for a while, and they've been doing fine for a while.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel like they need to do any of that, but it would all still be on a wish list of mine, sure.
Yeah, and we are finally getting to a place where the curve is kind of flat in terms of big jumps between generations, so they can get away with a lot more and have it look good. Especially their IPs are, big, fun, cartoony looking affairs, and they look great on Switch. Like, that stuff looks awesome because it doesn't need to be photorealistic, and it's enough power to do that. In truth, the PS5 or the PS3 and the 360 era would have also produced those kinds of graphics really well, and did in a lot of cases. So they're just kind of riding that. I think that that's still their future. I don't see them ever trying to be. They're never going to do that thing again where they're competing on the cutting edge specs. It just won't happen. I would be shocked if they cared about that ever again, because they've done fine without it, and maybe better without it because they can also not, like Bo said, not be loss leaders when they first launch a console. They don't have to lose a bunch of money to do it, and they're Nintendo. They got all these IPs. They're just going to print money. I would love to be. If I was any of these companies, I think I'd want to be Nintendo. Because even though they got their problems and they should get their internet shit worked out and their backwards compatibility, all that stuff, they're just fine. They're doing good. They got what they got, and they're good. They're going fine. They have their dips and their issues, but I don't know, man.
I mean, they were able to open a theme park. I feel like if you're able to open a theme park, things are all right.
Yeah, I feel like that's hard to do unless your IPs are that strong.
Yeah.
And so who gets away with that? Mickey Mouse got away with it, and rightly so for the time. Freaking the Looney Tunes cartoons with the Six Flags stuff, good combo. But again, that was a partnership. Who else could get away with having their own theme park? Hardly anything. I think Blizzard could do it if they really cared or wanted to, or maybe, I think, or maybe not. I don't know.
Not anymore.
Maybe not anymore. They used to could.
Blizzard maybe could have pulled it off.
They used to could do it. I always thought they could do a thing with like Universal and say, there's this whole, like Harry Potter does with Universal. It's like, here's a whole section of the park that's just Blizzard World. And here's Overwatch.
Yeah, I think it would be. I think it makes more sense as a partnership. I mean,
well, and that's what the Nintendo one is.
Yeah.
Nintendo is like kids, though, right? Like, I feel like kids like to go out and go places. I feel like my ass just wants to sit at home and play Hearthstone. I don't need to go ride on the flying cards.
Yeah, but I'd want to go once.
I love Hearthstone, but no.
I want to see the Super Mario World, whatever the place. I want to at least one time see that. Either when they finish the one in Florida or wherever it's going, or go to Japan sometime and see the one there. But I do want to see that one time. I don't need to go back, just one off.
What if, it'd be kind of great. I just had a weird thought.
Do it. Lay it out.
If we took core on the road, or we went core on the road and all met up in Japan.
Let's do it. Let's go.
And did a core from the Mario world.
You're gonna need a lot of patrons.
They'll kick you out.
I know. That's why I'm like, no.
They'll kick you out and throw you in the ocean if you say Mario.
Hey, look,
over
I
there.
can dream. I'm just dreaming about all of us hanging out together doing something cool in Japan.
You just can't say Mario.
And I would bring my VR camera and film it all in VR too while we're tossing up fantasies. Let's throw it all on there.
I'm sorry, Canadian man, but you are not allowed to say Mario in this.
I think I can just sort of picture like the core, the magazine, the podcast cover. It's the three of us in Japan at Mario World. It's
Mario World. Yep.
Or Mario World. Sorry. I'm at least trying to give Taz the man some ideas for his next issue. Maybe if you could Photoshop pictures of us in Super Mario Land and make that a magazine.
If you guys don't follow Taz the man on Twitter, go follow his freaking covers he does for Core.
That's a great Patreon goal, though.
I want to make that magazine so bad. Every time I see him do that, I go, "Oh, can we just please print this?"
It's a really good job of the covers. Like it looks like an actual.
No, he's a pro, dude. Dude's a pro. He's a real pro. Yeah. All right, Core road trip. Well, road. Plane,
let's just think about it. Let's sleep on it, okay? We don't have to decide it all today. Let's just say there's a world of possibility and one in which we go to Super Mario World, boys.
We can figure out the number and say when our patron level hits here, we just do it.
What the Trailer Park Boys? They went, they got Netflix to give them some money, and they made a show out of going to. What if we could get them? They make a movie about three nerds going to pilgrimage to Super Mario World.
Yeah, why not?
We're entertaining.
Sure,
we can show them our listenership and just say, get us Dan Trachtenberg or something, and let's go.
Look, the three of us just need to be. We need to have a Core side move in Vegas for TMS. That way, where it's not too crazy. That's just a step toward the Tokyo trip. But we start there. I know enough people love Core that go to that. They would all. And if we told people, "Hey, Core's going to Vegas in April or whatever," people would lose their minds. And then we'll have that, and then we'll be like, see, that was great. Now everybody belly up for let's get us to Tokyo. I'll bet we'd have a better chance.
Well, I was thinking less of it being a fan event, more of it being a
video
road trip. Trailer Park Boys goes to
videography.
Yeah, who would film? We have a film. We have Dan go with us. Is that your idea?
Dan Trachtenberg was my first idea
because he's got nothing else.
We might not make it to final draft, but
knowing Dan personally and knowing what he's up to right now, I think he's going to be out of our league. He's got a lot of very cool shit going on.
You never know who's listening. Maybe Phil wants to come.
Yeah,
Phil, you want to come with it? Xbox can sponsor it. I mean, we talked glowingly about it. I think we'd be great ambassadors at Super. Imagine Xbox sponsoring a podcast trip to Nintendo.
Yeah, this ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
It sounds amazing. I love this.
It sounds like something we would make fun of if it wasn't us, though. Do you know what I mean?
Well, sure. Yeah, we would be the butt of every other joke, but who cares? We're in Japan.
Well, Maybe I'll float this idea to who knows? Maybe War Chief Gaming wants to sponsor the trip. I'm talking to Metzen tomorrow. You guys will be getting a bonus episode of Core here shortly, where Metzen lays a few things out, and maybe I'll float this stupid idea in front of him and see what he says.
I mean, maybe if he comes, that would attract some investor. It'd be the Core with Chris Metzen.
Could be
Super Mario World.
Yeah. Mario.
And if Chris is on the fence, tell him we can visit the Transformer. I'm sure there's Transformer stores there. We can visit them while we're there.
Oh, he loves the Transformers. So, yeah. They're robots in disguise. Yeah, he's into it.
We'll all bring all of our families. It'll be a big family trip, but, then it'll be the Core videography crew doing what we do.
Yeah, and the kids and the wives and all that, they can stay in the hotel and do whatever they do.
Yeah, you guys have families.
Well, you bring your mom, Bo. She's cool.
No, my mom's not cool.
Your sister? How about your sister?
Both not invited.
How about your sister?
Well, no, because I mean, we're going to Mario World. I mean, it's
Does she say Mario?
I think very independently. I'm single, so it's sorry, I forgot.
Does she say
Everyone's
Mario?
Like, we got to bring all the family. I was like, oh, it's not how I pictured it. It's fine, totally bring the family.
If I walked up to your mom and said, "Hey, Mrs. Schwartz," or whatever she goes by.
Let's call her Heinelka.
All right. Oh my God, I can't even say that word. What if I walked up to her?
Name. It's Hajnalka.
Heinelka.
Heinelka.
If I said to Heinelka, hey, if I said to her, how do you say Mario? What would she say? Would she say Mario or Mario?
It's a Canadian thing. We all say Mario up here.
Okay.
I think it's a Canadian thing.
Well, this is the problem. Our two countries will never truly come together until we get that solved. The way I look at it.
Yeah, we have our differences. But
you know where else they say Mario, Scott? New York,
where do they?
Mario is from. Yeah.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
I have New York friends that say Mario. And Mario says Mario.
They know his name is Mario, but they say Mario with the accent.
But everybody says Mario because Mario says Mario. It's not like there's the final word is the guy who's named Mario, and he says, it's a me, Mario. He doesn't go, it's a me, Mario. He doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's not a problem.
Look,
it's just kind of funny.
Okay, Princess Leia calls Han and Han over the course of Empire Strikes Back. She says it both ways.
Yeah, but
at no point does he go, it's Han. Princess.
Yeah, but that's Turtleneck Lucas. Right. That's Turtleneck Lucas's fault. He's not telling him the right deal. He's not making it clear on set.
Turtleneck Lucas.
He's always got turtlenecks on, that guy. I can't help it. That's all I can see. He's
Yeah,
going, hey fellas, what's going on? I got a turtleneck on. Check it out. My movie's good. Anyway.
Definitely circumcised.
He corrected them, but they just didn't hear him. He just did it too meekly from the back. Actually,
okay, go ahead.
Han Solo.
I love this fake version of George.
Anyways,
Lucas.
it's just an idea. Let's sleep on it, all right? Let's
we'll
not
sleep
get
on
too crazy, but it's just we're gonna sleep on it.
Yeah, we're gonna sleep on it, folks. We'll let you know. Now let's talk about two things with this next sound clip. First thing is, last week we were like, wait, where did that come from? And I scrubbed and couldn't find it. I found it.
Oh, really?
It's Bonk's Adventure for the TurboGrafx 16 is where that came from.
Nice.
And I capped it because I was just skimming through some ROMs and I went, I need a good jingle here. What do we got? And that one played and I went, oh, that's pretty good. And then I forgot all about it. Well, now I know. People pointed it out. I went back and looked. It is absolutely the original Bonk's Adventure for the TurboGrafx 16. A fine game, by the way. It was a good game. I enjoyed it.
Cool title. TurboGrafx 16 was always like made my other consoles seem crappy, and I never had one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a net or I don't know if it was Super NES at the time.
Yeah, it would have been
Super NES, but that's a TurboGrafx with an X60.
Yeah.
So.
That's what Nintendo don't and genocide or genocide. Anyway. Let's get into what we played. So you guys have kept up your Marvel Snap. I've been playing as well, but very casually. John, you finished in gold. Nicely done.
I did. I finally got out of silver. I got into gold before that season was up. Which
what number is gold?
I don't know. It's not high.
It's not high?
I thought it sounds high because like we're used to a world where like platinum's about as high as you go. Maybe diamond beyond platinum. Marvel Snap's like, no, like gold isn't even a quarter of the way up the ladder. It's like it's iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, infantarium, nauseum.
Vibranium's one of them.
explosivium,
Yeah.
vibranium,
Unobtainium.
adamantium,
Mhm.
infantanium. Like it just keeps going and going. Gold is not high. So if that sounds impressive to anyone, don't be impressed.
It
I was
did
just
for a
wondering
minute.
about the rank number because I wanted to know how you deranked.
Yeah, do you have your
How
phone
many-
handy? You
'cause
can-
at
Oh,
the
I went
season-
back. I went back to iron.
I
What
go back
an
to 10. Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
I went back to 10, and what an adventure that was to go from trying hard to rank up in gold to going back down to iron, where I just continued to watch the most bizarre moves I've ever seen. There was one match where, based on the two, so one of them opened up, and it was the one no cards can be played here on turn 6, and then the next one opened up, and it was no cards can be played here on turn 4. And then I played Storm on turn 5 or turn 4. So when it came to turn 6, you could literally play cards nowhere. The entire board was closed down by turn 6. You couldn't play in any lane. I was winning every lane. I snapped, and they're like, "No, I got a good feeling about this," and they
They snapped too. Oh my
they-
god!
they snapped 2, and I won, and I took 8. I was like, "What is this for?" There was no you couldn't even play a card. What did you think was going to happen in this turn where nobody could play anything?
Yeah,
But,
low ranks. I mean, either it's bots or kids, or people who don't know math.
Yeah, it
If
was.
you are not really great at the additions and multiplying,
Mhm.
you know, this game's going to be challenging for you.
It was really
higher
alarming.
stages. Yeah.
But I did find a deck that I was ultimately happy with. I kind of got out of the gimmicky decks of like, oh, I want something that's all on reveal, or I want something that's all just about powering up or all destroying other cards. And I ultimately landed on a deck that's a mishmash of a lot of things and good answers to a lot of what I was doing before, which was like having a singular focus for the deck. It's like, oh, well, if they do this, I have this card that counters it. And if they do this, I have this card that counters it. And I ended up finding a lot of fun in that play style because I know last week I said the part I was having a hard time with was I didn't like getting off the deck that I was playing. I'm having a lot of fun with this because it's a lot of good play, like counterplay in there. I added Killmonger to my deck, which, by the way, if you're out there, put Killmonger in your deck. There is nothing, especially at low ranks, like it's not as common as you climb. Like I didn't get to use him effectively very much in gold. Once I dropped back to iron, oh man, Killmonger became fun again. Because people they'll throw out squirrels and a ton of level 1 cards just to like power them up. And you just sit on that Killmonger card and you just watch them power up a bunch of level 1 cards. And you're like, this is going to go so bad for you. And they fill up their entire board and superpower them. And then you just play it. And their entire side is wiped out in a single move. And you just go, what? Welcome to the higher ranks. This is what it's like up here. You don't get to play that way anymore. I'm sorry. But I did hit a new frustration point with the game, which is I am now into pool 3, and Bo talked a little bit about this. I have dipped my toe in pool 3, which means I am encountering all sorts of weird shit in terms of cards. Tons of stuff I've never seen before, tons of stuff I don't have answers to, and no steady, easy to understand, quick path to obtaining the cards to go along with it.
You're in that period at the beginning of the pool where you have to suffer through playing games, like suffer losing, suffer playing through the games in order to earn the cards until you start building, having something viable to build or having options to figure things out. I'm working my way through it, and I'm starting to do okay now. But yeah, you're like, what's Octopus? Okay, there's Doctor. Okay, Ultron. Okay, like it's just every game. It's like Mr. Negative combo deck. Okay, Captain Marvel. Oh, okay. Like everything's like I didn't see that coming because I didn't knew that card exists for like 30 games or something. Like there's a card I didn't see before. Can't plan for that.
So, I had one just before the show where somebody was like, they put down armor in the middle lane to prevent cards from being destroyed. And I had Enchantress to counter it, but I didn't really know what they were doing. It didn't seem to be that harmful. And they just kept really stacking that middle lane. And I was like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're doing this. And I was thinking of all the cards I knew and understood, and I was like, I don't know what they're going for. I think I still win this. And then they played the Destroyer. And he came
right,
through,
yeah.
and his whole thing is he just destroys all the cards in every lane. Except if they're
right?
protected. Yes, his own team.
Yeah.
But I ended up playing it too, because my recent new addition to my team is I play the leader. Because I have a deck that's very strong at leading.
Oh,
into
leader's
the final
annoying
turn,
as shit.
and I love the leader. I love him a lot because it's really like a maintain status quo card, and I have found that I do really well with it. Well, then I played the Destroyer and decimated my own team by doing it, so it wasn't great, and I
gotta play
encountered that card.
You got to play armor with the Destroyer or things that want to be destroyed, like a Nova or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's crazy, but it is such a fun game. It's still really good. But I am hitting that point where I'm genuinely thinking about maybe I should sink more money into this, because this will at least speed up the process a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to, but this initial wading into pool 3 is rough.
You haven't spent any money yet, though. I think you're still pretty good that you're even at pool 3 at this time. So
I've spent a little. I haven't spent a ton. I bought both of the season passes because I'm playing enough. I might as well earn the XP. So I got both season passes. I got the starter pack, and then I think I might have done an additional $10 or so at some point. So I'm not highly invested in it. I would say more than what is kind of at a basic level. But I've put a little bit of money in it.
Huh. Do you think, how much are you willing to put into it? Have you thought about that?
I as long as I'm actively playing, I'm willing to continually buy the season pass as seasons come.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Okay. That's a good value.
It's my toilet game. It's my toilet and I'm supposed to go to bed game.
Yeah. And think of the money you're saving on not buying a Twitter subscription. You just spend it on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I could spend $10 or I could get more credits.
Yeah. Do this.
I'd rather give it to Ben Brode than freaking Elon Musk.
Yeah. So that sounds good. All right. So there's that. Also Overwatch 2, having fun. Pretty stoked about the new tank. I don't know if anyone's looked at it, but it's the leader of the Null sector called Ramatra. How do you say the name of the damn thing? It's a robot. Ramatra.
Oh, Ramatra.
I think it's how you say
it. Wait, is he out now?
No, he's coming with the next season, but I'm excited about it because he looks, I don't know, he just seems
that
awesome.
reminds me. I got to play. I'm near max rank on that battle pass. I'd hate to let that lapse.
You can't let that I think it still goes for another, we got some time, I think.
I just got to mark it in my calendar so I don't forget.
But Ramatra, however you say it, he, I think it's a he, looks like a complete badass. I love the idea of an Omnic tank. He just looks all ninja and tough and stuff. We don't know a ton. We know a little about what he's going to do, but I'm kind of excited about that character. So still really into Overwatch, enjoying the hell out of
it. He gives me Megatron vibes.
Oh, you turn into a gun?
Like Megatron's like of course he's a cartoon character, but Megatron's just like, we kill a lot of bots because we're the Decepticons. And this is definitely more fleshed out of but he's like, the robots are my people. Mm-hmm. He definitely has a anti-human vibes to him.
Sure.
Like sympathetic, like obviously you're like, yeah, humans are dicks and they're being bad to robots, but he's ruthless. So he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
But
I
actually kind of dig what he is from the fiction and stuff. I think he's cool.
I do too. He looks like he's
big and Megatron of the Overwatch world, I think.
Yep. I was glad to see also that the first two heroes of this push are healer and tank, because we have so much damage right now. It's like 1 million damage characters. Keep focusing on those two other sides, and that'll be good for the game. Anyway, there's that. Bo and I bought Among Us VR today, but neither of us have played it yet, right? Have we played it?
I have to buy it on Steam, though, because I forgot about that dumb thing. If you want to stream games, stream VR, you should do it on your Steam.
Which I did too. It's only $10, so I figured if I
it's no big deal. I'll play for a refund on Oculus, but
But I definitely
It's,
did, and I got it today, and I haven't looked at it yet, but the reviews are strong. People are like, oh my gosh, you won't believe how good this is in VR. It's a good experience, so I'm going to play that.
So, do we have plans, or we'll talk?
We need to make plans, because I want to play
this
for
weekend?
sure.
Yeah, and like, are we, is it just you and I? Are we going to do listener, like Frog Pants?
We could do whoever wants to, if we can make a team and more people can join and have VR, because I don't think it crosses over with the regular Among Us 2D game.
Talk about it on Core, because then we can be like, listen, bring your headset.
Yeah.
Meet us in the yard. We're going to play, what's your week, tomorrow, Saturday?
Yeah, something like that. I really want to play this with people, so looking forward to it.
I mean, this seems like not a play with strangers kind of game. I'm sure you could do that too, but I would rather at least initially try it out with friends.
Yeah, for sure. So. I assume this thing's it'll do voice, which the current game doesn't do in game. They have a bunch of shortcuts for phrases and stuff, so when you're in the voting process, you can indicate who you think did it or whatever if you're playing with randos. I assume this thing will have, I haven't looked, I assume it has like spatial audio, like you can talk in the world, and
I would assume that too, but I don't know. Maybe you have to join Discord. But VR is different because it's annoying. Not everyone wants to log into Discord while they're on their headset.
Jumps in the chat says it is proximity voice, so
okay,
it will be like if you're down the hall, I can yell and you'll tell that I was down the hall when I yelled it.
Right. Yeah. So you just worry about bad behavior and proximity chat. Obviously,
Yeah. Which I'm sure you
I don't worry about it. I'm not in the mood for it, right? I want to play a fun game with people, and this guy's calling me,
Yeah.
Whatever.
I tend to, I will usually mute that stuff unless it's full of people I know. So,
yeah, I guess that's
true.
See.
I'm excited about it, though. We'll see how it goes. All right. Let's get to games that I played. I'm obsessed with a new game. Obsessed with it. I've spent 12 hours in this game. This game ruined most chances of me playing other games this week, which is why my list is unusually small here.
Yeah, I guess that's a good segue because you just started. But it's a good time to bring up how many games you finished recently. We do have a competition going with John.
I know, and I've got this one. I mean, there's probably an end to this one, but it sure is it's not going to be quick. There's a lot to unlock in this game. But anyway, you've heard me talk in recent weeks, and John before that, about the Vampire Survivor game, and then games that have been sort of spawned around it that are very similar. People are calling them action roguelikes, which is, I don't know if there's a better term yet, but it is kind of a weird subgenre unto itself. Kind of dual stick meets roguelike progression.
Vampire Survivors like game.
Yeah, I don't know what else to call them, but Vampire Survivors I enjoy, but I've liked these others more because they're doing twists that I think make them more fun games. And I found one that has got me completely by the short hairs, and the game is called Soulstone Survivors. They got survivors in the title. It must be real. Anyway, I picked this up.
It's official.
That's how you know it's official. I picked this up, and it's 3D. This is the first one of these that I've messed with that is a 3D engine and not just some top-down 2D thing like others I've talked about previously. It starts out like you expect one of these to start, a little bit slow. The first character you get is this tank character. They keep it nice and simple in that regard. You have the appropriate bonuses for a character like that. The art style in the menus reminds me a lot of For the King, kind of that polygon chunky character design.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about. It's a bit like that. It's
like a Torchlight, or what was it, Battle Right?
Battle Right's, oh yeah, you know what? Battle Right's
like
good example. That's a good call. It's a lot like that. But the top-down gameplay is, you're none of that really matters because it's far enough away where everything's just sort of there. But anyway, you play like you do in those games. If you've played them at all, you'll know what happens. You kill a bunch of dudes, you collect the XP they leave. They're in the form of glowy little yellow XP balls. You get a choice of upgrades when you level up, and then you choose those upgrades or recycle them depending on your abilities, and then move on. You can have up to 6 weapon types running at the same time, and you can swap those out with replacement weapons if you want later, or you can just skip those and just keep augmenting your abilities. You find a build you like, you can ignore those. It gets crazy. This is the thing I think why I'm so hooked on it. Vampire Survivors and others like it tend to be really slow paced. Like, it's a lot of very creepy, crawly, slow stuff. Nothing's moving very fast. This game is fast out of the gate, or faster, I should say. Way less methodic in the early stages. You have a dash button, and you can dash in and out of combat pretty frequently. You can also get more dashes as you go. Also, you can unlock them in the main menus if you've earned it. But dashes are crucial, and they just feel great. So something gnarly is about to happen. Somebody puts a big red poo on the ground, and it's going to explode. You can dash out of that stuff. Or dash in to create, if you're timing stuff right, like, well, I have this one explosion that goes off every few seconds. I'm going to dash in and blow up this big wad of creatures. It gets crazy real fast. I'd say about 2-3 minutes into your run, it's bananas, and you get into this like zone, this very Zen-like control zone. At least I feel it that way. The main character that you play, this barbarian, he's fine, and as good as any to start with. But he's really simple in terms of most of his abilities initially. Anyway, you can add abilities later that he has to aim, but in the beginning, his little swirl attack can just sort of happen. And it happens on intervals. If you pick another, like I've unlocked 5-6 characters now. Some are like an archer. One of them's like a pyromancer. Like these different kinds of classes. And they are more focused on range. And in those cases, you have to use your right stick to aim where you're going to shoot certain things. You have some AoE things that just happen, but a lot of your weapons of the 6 are going to be projectiles, and you want to be able to aim those. I have a arcane mage that has a beam that's a lot like Diablo 3's wizard beam. What's that called? Whatever it's called. The particle beam he does.
Disintegrate?
Disintegrate, is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. It's a lot like that. And you aim that. You control where that goes with the other stick. You're still auto-firing all the time, but you are using both sticks, and you are using dash quite a bit as a gameplay mechanic. It gets bananas, guys. Like, insane at some point. And you can add modifiers to make things even crazier. You fight bosses on regular intervals, of course, and when you're done, you teleport out of there. There are achievements that unlock skins and different characters that sometimes you can buy that stuff with the currency in the game, and sometimes you just unlock them because you were really fast, like you beat the whole thing in 14 minutes or something, and then it unlocks a new dude that only gets unlocked that way. There's so much I'm forgetting. There's a bunch of biomes, so it's not just one level. There's like a desert biome, a snow biome, like an underdark kind of looking thing. And these matter because the materials you need for the crafting part of the game are found in different biomes and also at different levels of the biome. So if you're looking for steel, as an example, you're going to want to go to one of the places that has steel, because back in the main menu, you have a weapon upgrade system that all the characters can get, and it's a vastly better weapon than your default, but you have to earn these currencies to have them. Then that dude makes it for you. You've also got a talent tree that goes way deeper than I'm used to with these kinds of games. There's way more sort of meta around what you want to do and how you want to build it. Matches are up to 20 minutes long. That's the maximum, but they can be shorter if you're good. And you get a good build that's just tearing everybody to pieces. I love it. I'm in love with this game. I can't stop playing it. It's almost all I played. It just came out in early access. It's already got tons of content, and I immediately tried it on my Steam Deck, which worked 100%. No issues. Even at its craziest, it ran at 60 frames. Beautiful clip. It was no problem. Played it on my PC as well, and I can't say enough about Soul Survivors. If you like this type of game at all, I think this might be the hot new piece of business in that subgenre of game, and I'm having a blast. And this has a really strong just one more game kind of thing going on with it, where I'll finish and it'll say, congratulations, you unlocked the paladin. I'm like, well, shit, I need to know what he does.
I gotta see the paladin.
I gotta see that guy. So
go to bed without seeing the paladin? Are you crazy?
So I'll take that guy out, I'll try him, and then I'll do it again and go, oh, I gotta do this because this lady's unlocked now and she seems weird. And they're really good about giving you the rewards you want when you want them. Apparently the game supports now, I haven't seen it since the patch, but it's an endless mode that's supposed to be really fun. The problem is I don't know how to enable it. I don't know if I have to unlock it because it's not in the menus. I got to figure that out. But Anyway, it's very, very good. The engine runs so well. That surprised me. I thought it would slow down with everything going crazy by the end. By the 20-minute mark, I thought this is not going to be playable, right? Nope, totally fine. Like just running at the same clip as when I started. And it is Zen-like in a really cool way. I'd love it. I'm going to play more of it, and I hope everybody picks this up. It's $10, so it's a little more than you're used to, but you know, those 2D games, I don't know, $5 seemed right.
Yeah.
3D,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I did end up buying this, but I refunded it.
Yeah, I saw that. What was your refund reason? What was your deal?
So I thought, when I watched the trailer, it was my fault. I thought the buttons were like Diablo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like because the way they show the hotkeys and the cooldowns.
Yeah, it kind of
makes
looks like
sense.
a MOBA or.
I was like,
a
it's a
ARPG.
Survivors like, but I get to press the buttons. Exactly what I was hoping for. And then I got in and played. I played like 3 minutes, and I'm like, I can't press these buttons. And then let me refund now before any more time goes by.
Yeah, just
like,
annoyed you that you couldn't do it.
But like, I don't want to make too big of a deal of it because I know that you guys are fans of these games, and I think they're great. This looks awesome too. But it's just, I don't want to. I want to press buttons. I just wanted to press buttons. I was like, maybe another time.
You'd like this more than Vampire Survivors because that game is literally the stick and that's it.
I mean, I like Survivors. I think I did put 60 hours into Vampire Survivor. Like, I think I've had my fill of these types of games. Like, it was appealing because the button, having the Diablo control schema in a game like this was appealing. But if I'm not going to press buttons, it's like, I played it.
Yeah.
But I think John and I played Vampire Survivors a lot more than you did.
Oh yeah, totally. I moved on from it pretty quick because I like I say, for whatever reason, that game didn't work for me as well as these other alternates are working for me.
It's a good looking one. Like definitely all the lights, the pretty lights and explosions and all that stuff was like, oh, I want to buy this.
Music's also very
I'm at
cool.
Almost 80 hours in Vampire Survivors.
Oh my gosh! So my 12 hours is nothing compared to that. That's
crazy.
Like
I think once you've played a lot of that genre, you're like, yeah, I respect it, but I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I think that's
sorry. Me, it's only 27 hours, but still, that's.
Well, listen to this. I'm going to play just a little sound from this because one of the things I really like about it is the music and the audio. So let me just hit play here. Hold on. I have to turn this up a little bit. It's just chaos. It's like
like I can hear the music. Like, the music's great.
Check out this music.
I think this guy has it turned way down or something. Something's weird with the way he's set up, but anyway, I think it's great. I'm super into it. So if that sounds like something people might like, you definitely check it out. I think it's the best one of these I've played. Closely behind it is Brotato, which also lets you aim and do a few button things. But
I mean, I would just say if you want to buy them all, because Vampire Survivors is not very expensive.
Yeah, they're all like $4. So.
Genre to be into.
Yeah, you could have a lifetime of playing these games for $20.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Chabron says this proves I like a tower defense game. No.
Yeah,
they're trying to argue it's mobile tower defense.
It's not. It's not
tower defense where you control a single tower.
No. It's not that at all. Well, if that's true, then everything's a tower. Freaking, you know what? I'm going to go play Assassin's Creed with that tower I move around. Like, forget it.
It's not the same. Tower defense, the enemy follows a path, and the camera doesn't usually move around that much.
Right. So. And you're upgrading your towers, not your dude. You don't have you don't have a big giant arsenal and you can move and it matters where you go. Like
everyone just wants to meme on you and have some fun with you. That's all.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think they're right though. I think it's one really good tower and it's mobile.
Yeah. I'm gonna remember this when I play what's another dumb game I could play where you know what, I'm gonna play Sim City.
Well, Diablo's really tower defense. Too.
Yeah, Diablo. Why? Diablo's a tower defense game.
Probably the greatest tower defense game ever made. You're right.
Right. Just running around like a tower. Yeah, exactly. You guys don't fool me.
And you even
there.
drop other turrets as a demon hunter.
Yeah, extra towers. Yeah.
So the next game I played, which I am only sad that I didn't get to play a ton of it because I got so distracted by this other game. But I will get back to it because I really like this one so far too. And this game is called Against the Storm. It's a city builder, roguelike, if that even sounds like something. And it's shocking how well that works, even though it sounds impossible. Like, wait, city builder that's like, oh, you didn't quite do it. I guess you got to start over. Here's some stuff to take back with you. Like that roguelike element sounds like a weird fit, but it works, dude. This game, here's what I'll say about this game. This game knows what I like about city builders. It knows exactly what I like, which is all of that initial clear out these trees, build up that shit, get me more farms, build up that building, like that initial thing. Not the long haul, boring, make sure there's not a fire, make sure that you put enough police on that end of town or any of that. I just want to
building the initial settlement and then leave the police and politics to someone else.
Yes, that is not fun to me. But this part, the building, is fun. So the turtling up of your city is what I'm into and expanding it. And that's what this game is all about. It's all about like, hey, it's a fantasy setting and you've got basically humans, lizard people. They're lizard folk, basically, and then some badger people. And they have different strengths. The badger people are really good workers, and they're reliable and all that. The lizard people are strong, but they're bad in cold weather, or they lose some stats in cold weather, and the humans are just kind of your all-around. And throughout the game, you can decide, well, should I allow more humans in here? Should it be more lizard people? Like, what's the benefit going to be? Because at the bottom of the screen, you can see this in the UI. You got a blue line over there on the left, and you got a red line on the right. The red line is this god's happiness with you that you're trying to appease. And the less red line, the better. The more red line, that means you're making mistakes or things are taking too long or you effed up a path or something like that. And eventually it's going to kill your town. They'll just wipe it out with their wrath. The blue line is when you're succeeding at things. Like, okay, I got this much food production. I did this quest, which was I needed this much clothing distributed to the homes, and I did it. Okay, cool. I got a little bump on the blue line. That's the god's happiness with what you're doing. And so the goal is every match the best you can anyway is to get that blue line full. And it's not like really a timed thing, even though time plays a role, but it's not like a clock's ticking down all the time. It doesn't play like that. So it's not that kind of thing, which I would not like. I don't think I would enjoy it if it was like a timed affair all the time. But instead, it's like, all right, clear these trees, new area found. Oh, there's an ancient relic. What does it do? Shit, it wiped out 14 of my lizard people. That's okay, because I got these guys back here, and they'll build that back up. You pick upgrades as you level, which is a little bit like the last game I talked about. But, like any game where it's, oh, I leveled, I now pick some perks or whatever. And you strategically want to pick the right perks for the weird quests you're getting from this god. And then if you succeed, there's like a home. It's hard to explain, but there's a home base where you've improved things there. That's the part I haven't messed with as much. But each of the rounds is just go build a thing, and then all the fun of building an initial city kicks in, and it's a blast. And when you're done, it's gone. They're like, all right, you did it. Well done. Go back to town, do your thing. Now you got to go start again. You got some advantages. You got some perks you didn't used to have. You unlock some buildings you didn't used to have. So now you have some new strategies to try. And it's a new biome, and maybe it rains all the time or whatever, so you got to account for that. It's a weird game, but it knows what I like about city builders so well that the loop is just really got me. It's great.
Oh, it sounds sick, and it's an early access, so it's not even done yet.
No, although I was told, okay, so this is a weird one. This game started on Epic and has already been out for a year. And over there, it's out of early preview. It's out of whatever their version of early access is.
Oh, it's the full release. Okay.
So what people who have played both are saying, this is that version. They're just making sure they got all their T's crossed and their I's
basically
dotted.
It's a full release. Yeah, overwhelmingly positive too on Steam. So what was not clear? 'Cause, you say the initial part like it's just the beginning of a city builder, and I'm like I get it. That's a fun part, but also lame. But I, as I'm watching your video, it shows the meters, like the roguelike elements where you earn things, or the roguelite where you earn perks to take into new builds.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that's interesting because most city builders are the same set of tools. Maybe you do a different map type, more rivers, less or more mountains makes it harder. Like a city builder usually doesn't have any roguelike elements to make your build different. And that made my brain go, I mean, I already wishlisted it, but when you said that made my brain go, oh, I see. You don't want to spend 100 hours on one city.
Right.
You want to spend a lot of time to get a lot of variety from the different builds you try. And it looks a little Banish-like where you're allotting workers to things. I'm like, okay. I'm like, You successfully talked my interest level up from, say, a solid 6
Yeah.
to more of an 8 or 9.
Oh, that's
today.
pretty
So
good. Okay.
you did a good
Well, then
job
my work
influencing me.
here is done.
Yeah.
I really, really like it, and I like the idea. I just feel like it's got ideas no one else has tried. And they work, and the UI is really good. It feels like it's intuitive. I know what I'm doing much quicker. The tutorial's fine. The tutorial's basically, here, play the game, and we'll tell you a couple of things while you're playing it. It's like, oh, by the way, when you do that, that means this, or you don't have enough people inside you don't have enough jobs, so you got to get more. You got to attract more people. Here's how you do it. It doesn't hold your hand too much in that regard, but it does enough to where I can intuit a lot of it, and I never really got hung up.
Are there any enemies to fight in this game, or is it all strictly city building?
So there are enemies, but not in a traditional. And keep in mind, I'm not as far as maybe there's more of this later, but the way it works is, you'll see fogged off areas in clusters of trees, and you're not sure what's in there, and sometimes they'll have a danger symbol over it saying there's something dangerous in this here. So maybe
cool.
don't come in here until maybe you've built things up a little bit, because if you do, who knows? And sometimes it's simply like a shrine in there that if I went and investigated it, it shot electricity out, kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark that went through all the Nazis
Yeah.
at the end, and it arcs out and killed like 15 of my dudes, which turned out to be okay because I had enough established and going on that I could recover. But
Gosh, dang it,
sometimes you
Scott.
can't if you do it early.
Bo got convinced.
And then there's
Can your
areas
segment
where
be over soon?
it's only $16 or whatever it is.
I'm not saying it because I'm not enjoying what you're saying, but I've purchased it now.
Well, I think
Congrats! I already spent a lot on VR games this week. Another $20. There we go. All
you're
right.
the guy I thought of when I played this.
Yeah, the more you talk about it, the more I'm like, you're singing my song.
Yeah, it's
It's
really
easy
neat.
to be dismissive when you're on Discord and you're like, "Hey, Bo, here's a cool game," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have time for it."
Yeah, I know.
When
No,
we're
no, no.
talking, I'm
I
like,
don't blame you.
I have to buy it. I have to buy it. Scott's making me buy it.
I don't blame
so
you.
Amazing.
I don't blame you at all. Like
It's purchased and installing.
plus I get pretty glowy about almost all the cool things I think are cool. But most of the time you have to admit, like, these reviews back it up. Everybody really likes this thing. It's rad, and it's just, I just love how different it feels. It doesn't feel like somebody else has already done this, but also it feels natural and like it's like meant to be. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I really have big excitement about continuing to play this. So anyway, there's your game. It's called.
We have a fun circle of influence, though. Sorry, just to distract a little bit, because John gets Scott to buy things, Scott gets me to buy things,
Yeah.
and I have the reverse effect on John.
No, you do. You came back with me. You rock paper scissors me pretty good with like, hey, get VR. When you reminded me that VR Among Us was coming out, I was
But
like,
you know,
yeah, I'm getting that.
Like on the show, I mean, like John can get you to buy anything on the show. If John really puts his mind to it, you're
Oh,
buying
yeah,
something.
he'll do it. Yeah.
And you have that power over me, I feel. But I definitely do not have that power over John.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing
Which
with
is
rock
fine.
paper scissors.
You know, we all have plenty of games to play. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, you scissored him. You totally scissored him, is what I would say to all that. But anyway, it's a very cool game. I was so blown away by it. I think people will like it. Again, it's called Against the Storm. Against the Storm. Okay. Which sounds like Blizzard when they were treating Heroes of the Storm poorly. They were against the storm, but that's not what this is.
Sounds like
is a
their
game.
Overwatch movement right there.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very cool. All right, John, the big game you played this week was actually some DLC, and speaking of trying to get me to play a thing, you tried. I don't know if it's worked yet, but tell me about Resident Evil Village Shadow of Rose DLC.
Yeah, so I had kind of forgotten that this was a thing that was going to come out and that I was really excited about it. And then it was out and I was really excited about it. But Resident Evil Village, one of my favorite Resident Evil experiences recently, including yours, Scott. The first time I've ever heard you finish a Resident Evil and go, I might play this again.
Yeah,
you
I
didn't,
did.
but
No,
you thought you would.
I thought I might,
do
which
it.
is a
That
lot
was-
more than I usually
that's
do.
everything.
Yeah.
That means
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's a lot more than I've ever said. So you're all right about that.
So, what was one of the greatest things about Resident Evil Village was that it was kind of like a slice of everything that Resident Evil has been. You had kind of in your castle area, you had more of what Resident Evil 2 and 1 was, like a real claustrophobic environment where maybe you're getting chased at times and solving weird puzzles and collecting keys to open doors. But then you had the segment in the dollhouse where they took all your items and guns away, and you had to deal with some more horror-based things where you didn't have a way to defend yourself, which, Scott, I know you loved the big baby.
Yep, that big
that's
baby,
where that
dude.
was.
Jeez, I hated
the
that
big
thing.
baby and many other horrors in that. And then, it had some action set pieces because Resident Evil 4 and some of the others have certainly been more, like action games with monsters at times. And it had elements of that in it as well. Shadow of Rose is sort of the same principle in short bursts, but in some of those cases, I think it actually is more effective than the original. It has its Resident Evil 2 feeling segment where, once again, you're in a claustrophobic environment, maybe being chased by monsters, not really ready to fight them, solving puzzles and the like. And the part that Scott is the most excited for, it also revisits a more horror focused bit involving dolls.
Yeah,
And,
that come to you unless you look at them, and then they stop and stare at you with their glowy eyes, and then you move again, and then they come after you again until you look at them. It kind of had I was trying to remember what this reminded me of. It was like
so it's the premise of the Doctor Who episode Blink.
There you go. That's
where,
the one. Yep.
It's the statues move when you're not looking at them, and they hold still when you are. So you have to try and maintain visual contact on them at all times while you're still trying to run around and solve puzzles. And they give you just enough movement that you do get to see to keep it scary.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's actually kind of nice. Like, it doesn't follow the literal rules. Like, you are going to see them move to a degree. But it's enough to where, like, you'll back up through a doorway and you'll hear coming down the hall, and you'll see them peek around the corner, and then they lock up as soon as they see you. It's very, very good. It's very, very well done. That part especially is definitely the highlight of the whole thing. And then it does have a small action-y bit in as well. Scott's trying to get to the dolls.
I'm trying to find the dolls. I'm having a hard time.
You have gone way too far. You were getting to the end of the game.
Oh, am I? I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah, you're doing like spoilers.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. Let me see. I'm just trying to find these dolls, which everybody's seen by now. Is it early in the game? Like
chat room for those watching the video. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't. There's nothing happened yet. It was all chaos. You can't tell what's going on here. All right, is this the house with the dolls?
No, you were going in the wrong direction.
Is this the original? Hold on, is this the original mansion? Yeah. RE1 mansion?
No, it's the castle from Village.
Oh, it looked like the
lady.
This entryway here, this area, this looks like I'm sending Barry off to check the blood. That hope he isn't Chris's blood. It reminds me of that.
It isn't Chris's blood.
Oh my lord. Okay, well I can't find it, so that's great. Anyway, continue on. Sorry.
Yeah. You're going in the wrong direction if you're looking for it anyway.
Oh.
It'll be more to the right, but not nearly as far as you went.
I'm going to go right here. Is it here? This is probably in this place.
You're too far.
I'm too far.
Maybe.
This is like to 2020.
Yeah, I need to stop. I need to stop trying to help you find it. No,
yeah,
you're going
especially because it's a 7-second delay every time I click it.
Don't worry about it. Just do a search for like Resident Evil Village dolls.
Yeah, I'll do that.
DLC dolls. It's fine.
Yeah.
The point is that the game is fantastic. It's all played in third person, which is part of the DLC as well. You can play through all of Resident Evil Village in third person if you want to play through that mode instead of first person.
Yeah.
So that mode is exclusive to Shadow of Rose. You have to play it in third person, but then it now becomes a new option for the main Village campaign as well. And it's really effectively done. It's got some ideas. You found it. You are to the doll.
Just her standing there, dude.
There you go. You did it, man. You found it finally.
Oh, I don't know if I can deal with the I've always said the rule is someone pays for a scary game and I'll play it with John. I'm not sure.
Do they kill you though if they get to you without you seeing them?
Yeah, they crush you. They grab you and crush you to death.
Oh, don't take your eye off her. Oh my gosh.
Scott's getting nervous just watching somebody play it.
Oh, I don't like it. Look at her. She moved. Oh, shit.
Now, the good news is, Scott, it's a small part of the game. Like, we're talking maybe 7 minutes of dealing with the dolls.
Yeah. That's
those dolls. There are other dolls, too. But just 7 minutes of that.
Wait, I'm sorry. There are other dolls that aren't these dolls?
Sure. Yeah, those are just the mannequins.
Sorry, one of the dolls just caught up with her and crushing her now. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know.
Just look at them; you'll be fine.
I mean, you
can't get through the level. They didn't make it impossible to pass.
Did they do the Resident Evil thing with even just that room where I know the baby is? I can't look at this. Did they do the thing where you have really limited inventory and all that stuff, or is that
no?
alleviated?
I never once had an inventory issue. In fact, they don't even have inventory boxes in the game, so there's no way to store inventory because I think you would have to try hard, run from everything, pick everything up, and I don't know if you could possibly run out of inventory space.
That's interesting.
In this.
Okay.
I genuinely think you would have a hard time doing it. I never once even came close. So inventory, not an issue. In fact, I mean, the doll section of the game, they take your inventory away, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh, great. That's not anxiety inducing at all. Just not having anything.
You're not
going
to get a gun to fight those dolls. You gotta.
I can't even look at the video. Oh, man, that's rough. All right. I'm not sure you've convinced me yet, but I am convinced.
Well, I don't know how
good.
to convince you because the reason I want you to play it is because it's going to terrify you. Like the thing that for me is a selling point for you is not a selling point for you. It's hard to say, like, but you liked Village, weren't you?
Know what? Village
was
great.
Going on with Ethan's daughter. You spent all that time trying to save Rose. Now you need to know what happened to Rose.
Listen, I really liked 8 for one reason, is that it wasn't as scary as 7. It's also a well-made. It's a really good game, but it wasn't as scary as 7. It was scary, but not as scary. It sounds like this DLC puts it in line with 7 in scariness. Like it's scary. Right?
It didn't scare me that much, but I don't
think it gets much scarier than Beehive Crotch.
That I found way scarier. Like that gross stuff was rough.
7 is so bad in that way. I mean, it's a good game, but that's so scary. I hate that game. I'll never play that again. Well, anyway, we'll see. I don't know, but I'm glad to hear this is good. I'm, a good solid. This is the first DLC they've done in a long time. I feel like since 6 or something, right? Or 5.
Yeah. It feels like there hasn't been a ton of DLC for it. I don't know. Did 6 have DLC?
5
I think
did.
It might have.
5 did. I don't know about 6. Maybe 6 was bad. That was a bad video game.
Wait, what was 6?
6 was Chris being all tough, punching rocks. Right? Didn't he punch a boulder?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. This is Resident Evil 8, right?
Yeah.
7 had DLC. 7 had DLC.
It did?
It was fine.
What was 7's DLC?
I think it had something to do with the family before they went all crazy.
Oh, I never saw that. And probably just as well. I hated that family. They sucked. They were awful.
Yeah,
people.
But I mean, that's the whole tragedy of that family is that they were actually nice, good people.
Yeah, but then you've seen the dinner table in that living room space.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't stay that way, but they were at first. Like that's the sad part. They were a loving family.
Do you remember when I had to put my hand into the neck of a decapitated police officer? I had to go down through his decapitated neck and find a key.
Yeah, that was gross.
It was foul. To this day, I don't think I've ever done. And to do that in VR, Bo, you need to play it in VR.
So I looked this up. The VR for those games right now is on PSVR. It's not widely available.
Oh, I thought it was only. I thought PC had VR.
I had it's PSVR, like PlayStation VR.
Yeah. I could have sworn.
I tried to look at it on Steam, and I'm like, it doesn't say VR supported. And usually, even if the game is a PC game, it'll mention that it's Vive compatible.
PC.
So
That's a
Resident Evil.
shame.
I think it's.
You're right. I just found this here. So there's a unofficial mod, but there's no.
And we'll talk about it later. But I'm kind of through with unofficial mods, but
Oh, okay.
not through. But I've, there's a chance it won't work. So
Yeah.
and yeah. Anyways, but
Ugh.
yeah, like I'm pretty sure there is an official mod. I know for sure Village and the remake of Resident Evil 4 will be on PSVR 2.
Yeah.
So I think RE7 is on PSVR 1.
It is.
So I would much rather have the developers develop, I don't want to play a mod if there's already an official mod, if you will.
Well, it's probably why they did that, because Sony wanted exclusive VR on it or something.
I mean, it might show up. It could show up somewhere. Iron Man VR did show up. Maybe, PlayStation has been putting out games in other places. Maybe RE7 will show up on Steam or something like that.
Well, it's on Steam now. It just doesn't support it. So
the VR, the VR support.
They'd have to do something special there. Who knows?
Maybe if you're listening over there, Capcom, I don't buy Resident Evils, but I will buy your Resident Evil if there's VR in it, just so I can see Beehive crotch.
Oh yeah, up close and in person, dude. Ugh.
I can get in there, stick your hand in.
So
Because
gross.
I do like the graphical fidelity of your AAA games in VR versus the reduced polygon counts of made for VR titles. So
Yeah, that's true. I had a Capcom stinger, but I can't find it now, so I'm not playing it. John, well done.
You are the master of stingers. I will give you the segue.
I also installed this thing you're going to talk about next, but I have yet to crack it, partly because I wanted to hear what you had to say. But since it's on Game Pass, it's a no-brainer. It's Signalis. We talked about it a little bit last week. I guess you got to play it. What do you think?
Finally played it a bit more. Discovered that there are save rooms in there, and that's why I had to start all over when I played it again. But this game plays like an old kind of isometric Resident Evil. Like if somebody told me that this was what Resident Evil was before the PlayStation release, I would believe it. It's got a real isometric view for the entire game, but it's definitely kind of got survival horror vibes. There's a lot of finding documents, limited inventory, things that are laying on the floor that look dead, standing up and coming after you. Not a lot of bullets, running away, like all the tropes of survival horror there in this kind of cool retro looking cyberpunk type setting. It's good. It does feel a little old. It goes along with it. It doesn't feel like the most modern playing or looking thing in the world, but I'm having a good time with it. I don't know if I'll stick it through to the end. It was hard to go from playing where we've wound up with like Shadow of Rose, full 3D graphics, environments, crazy things I hadn't seen before, to doing top down. Like I went into the room and the monsters stood up and I had to shoot them.
Yeah.
Like it's fun, but it's fun in a we've done that sort of way. And so I don't want to sound like I'm being too harsh on it, because it definitely has a cool atmosphere and a cool vibe, and it's definitely very different narratively. I mean, you're not dealing with zombies, you're dealing with a lot of futuristic things, robot cyborgs and spaceships and terraforming and all sorts of different stuff. Like that stuff's all cool, but the hallways can get a little samey. And I got to a point where I was doing the inventory management business of like, I got too much stuff in my inventory. And I'm not gonna lie, even though it's gonna make me sound a lot like Scott, that is kind of where my interest went. Maybe I'll play more of this later, and I don't know if I'm gonna play more of this later.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like fumbling with my inventory very much if I can avoid it. But this feels like this is what they're aiming for. I mean, don't you feel like this is like, hey, remember the old REs? Do you remember the isometric jiggly jaggly polygons and all this? We're making that again. I mean, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, and it definitely nails it. I just think that there are some things, and I don't think you should necessarily have to have all items all the time. I think there is a reason you do limited inventory in horror games. If you can just carry around infinite guns and infinite ammo and all of that, I definitely think it adds to the horror to have to deal with things. from a limited capacity. But that being said, we are in modern times, and 6 inventory slots doesn't feel like a lot of inventory slots. And if I'm having to go back and find lock boxes and stuff like that because I looted one too many card keys without using them, that doesn't always feel great.
Yeah, no, it does not.
Wow, the Steam reviews are glowing.
Yeah, people like it.
It looks super cool. The setting and the mood are really good. The only other issue I had was that I did not adjust the brightness on this game properly. I don't remember it starting and asking me. I think I just felt like I was playing it, and all of a sudden I was getting attacked by a bunch of stuff that I could not see. And so sort of late in my last time I played, I was like, I gotta be able to see this. Like, there's no flashlight in this game. This can't be intentional.
Yeah.
And I turned up the gamma, and sure enough, I could see stuff. So I will admit that I've put a lot of my time in this game where I couldn't see everything I was maybe supposed to be able to see. But no, it's a cool game, and it's definitely a throwback. But I would say that, it's free on Game Pass, so if you have that, it's pretty easy to check out. If it's a game that you have to purchase, my caution would be, understand you're buying a very retro specific experience.
Yeah. The vibe reminds me of that card game. Did I say, I may have said this last week, but what was the name of that retro looking card game came out? It was a roguelike card game called Introspection. This spectation.
No. Bo saved you last time, and he's not helping you this time.
What
and
was it?
I can't remember it now.
Inscription.
Oh, Inscription.
I'm getting that kind of
Inspection.
I'm getting that kind of crusty thing going, which I think I like. I didn't think I was gonna like that, but I do like it. I think it's cool looking. Anyway, cool. Well, I'll still probably check this out. I'm a little worried about inventory now, but
it looks cool.
We'll see.
Cool.
And then Fortnite. What's going on there?
Yeah, I figured I would check in with this as this will probably be the last time I talk about Fortnite unless something crazy happens. But we talk a lot about monetization models on the show. We've talked a lot about battle passes on the show. Talked about battle passes on this show. And I have officially reached the end of my very first battle pass in Fortnite, where I have achieved it. I have completed the entire thing, including the bonus stuff, because they throw some harder to get, like extra skins. Like, it's the stuff you've already unlocked, but now we've blinged it up in some way, so it doesn't feel as mandatory, but it's, maybe considered prestige to a degree. So I got through the entire thing. I earned enough of the currency to where I could buy the next battle pass when it comes out without having to put any money into the game. But I spent that money, so that will not be what I'm doing.
Nope.
I will be paying real money for it. But I will say, as a follow-up, because we mentioned this, my kids have done it. They have gone through the battle pass. They have each earned enough money to buy the next battle pass when it comes out, and they have saved their V-Bucks. They've done it. So they're living the dream, and me too, because I'm not going to have to buy another battle pass for the entire family. That sounds great. All in all, if you're playing Fortnite, like, I'm going to say the battle pass feels like an additive to the game. And I think it sounds like from things I've heard, I haven't played it, it might be similar in Overwatch 2. I don't want to talk too much about it because I haven't played it, but it's weird because Battle Royale games are really a big victory for, 1, 2, 3, max 4 people when you think about it. Like, one team is going to come out ahead, however many people are on that squad. And that's it. And the battle pass acts as kind of this buffer to give you other things to do, other objectives, and other ways to feel good without having to be that special snowflake that won the match. Which to me has been an additive for the game experience. Because, I dropped and I died within 5 seconds of landing. Typically feels bad. But in those 5 seconds, I unlocked a daily achievement. I hit a star rank, and I bought something cool that I was working towards on the battle pass. It is a rare experience where the primary thing they want money for actually feels like it makes the game better for existing there. And I think that that's really cool and really good. Doesn't mean they aren't after your money. I have sunk some money into Fortnite. Let's be clear. They're like, hey guys, this skin is back. You need it. Has gotten me on a couple of occasions, especially when they decided, like, hey guys, it's Skywalker week. We're going to put every Star Wars skin we ever did back in the game, and you can pay us for them. And I went, I gotta do that.
Of course you do.
Because that's what you do, because this is what you got to do. And the dumbest part is not only did I buy them, I bought most of them. I didn't buy all of them, but I bought a lot of them. But then you get it and you're like, yeah, look at my cool Luke Skywalker skin. This is cool. And then the Skywalker event ends and the lightsabers and the blasters aren't in the game anymore. And now you're Luke running around with an AK-47 and you're like, this is dumb. I'm not going to be a Luke skin. I don't want to be Luke running around with a handgun. Yeah. This looks stupid. I'm not going to do it. Yeah. And so you buy those skins because you're like, oh yeah, Skywalker week. I'm into it. And then you don't use them. And I'm using a big, dumb sea anemone, however you say it. I've discovered it's a word I can't say. I'm this big blue bubble man is my primary skin, and I like it because it looks dumb. And that's what I am 90% of the time when I play the game. It's just this big dumb blobby blue guy. But it still gets me where I'm like, well, yeah, but if those Dragon Ball Z skins come back in the game, you bet I'm going to have a Goku or a Vegeta just waiting.
Have they ever explained for me? Have they ever explained why Batman doesn't use guns? That's his whole thing, but he's running around using guns in this thing.
Because in Fortnite, everything's okay.
I guess so.
Everything is fine in Fortnite, Scott.
400-foot tall Travis Scott, save us from ourselves.
Yeah. It's a fantastic game.
Have you been to one of those, the concert event type things in there?
No, they haven't had any concert events since I started playing. I've seen it. There was one. Oh, who's the person that did that song Dance Monkey?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
I think that's true.
Yeah, he did Dance Monkey.
I'm just gonna guess that it wasn't him.
No.
Anyway, the whoever was that does that song Dance Monkey, they did a big concert in the game. I think.
Oh, Tones and I. Tones and I. That's who it is.
Yeah, and
Tones and I.
Tones and I. Yeah.
I watched that. I watched that happen, and that was cool. Like, you know, I have to admit, like, it was very cool spectacle to see because it was a concert. It's playing music, but it was also interactable. You know, they'd run into a house and then the floor would explode and then they'd be flying through space and then they'd wind up in a different place. And a music video would be playing across the sky. And like, it goes wild and it goes crazy. And I have to admit, like, it looks really cool. I don't know if it would be necessarily my thing unless it was, you know, a band I really liked or something, but you know, they were excited about it, and it usually comes with emotes that play the music and stuff like that, because you know, every now and then someone will emote at you and it'll play a popular music song and you're like, don't, I'm Twitch streaming right now, please stop. You're gonna get me in trouble. But no, it's a good game. I have to admit, I'm really having a good time with Fortnite. The no build mode has saved that game because I have forgotten that building is even a thing in Fortnite.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go near it.
As a result, that game is just a blast to play.
Yeah, I don't know, you're tempting me to check it out again just because the no build was my big hang up, or building was my big hang up, and then I heard about it and went, oh, well, that solves my problem, and I just couldn't be bothered. But I don't know. You're making me want to get in there. I'm not going to buy all these skins though.
No, don't buy skins, but get in with the family. Like, that's the thing, is it's just such a great game to play with multiple people because it's got all the cross-play stuff.
Yeah.
And it's got, you know, anything you've unlocked, you know, you still have tied to your Epic account. So we just, like, hey, we got someone on PlayStation, we got someone on Switch, we got someone on Xbox, we got someone on PC. Everybody logs in at the same time. We're all in a party together, and it just works. Like, it's kind of what we hoped when we all played the Ninja Turtles game together. Like, it's that dream. It's like, we're all on a bunch of different devices, but we're going to get in and we're just going to play a game together. It's extremely easy to do and lets people kind of play wherever they need to be, and has made family gaming a possibility in this house.
It's made family gaming fun again. Nicely done, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent news. Bo, swinging over to you. One of us played Iron Man VR, and it wasn't me or John, so I got to hear who did. Tell me more.
Me. I did. I played Iron Man VR.
Did you feel like Iron Man?
Yeah. It's actually aces. So it's a PS1 VR joint. So even for VR, the graphics are kind of low poly.
Yeah.
However, it has the AAA treatment. Every character is voice acted. There's a story. It's a little slow in some spots. Click here to interact, then it'll fade to black, then it'll just come back up on the same scene, and you can interact. There's some stodginess to this game. However, it's well voice acted. It's not janky at all. It works real well. And the real star of the show is flying around in an Iron Man suit. It has a novel control schema not available in any other game, in that you have the Iron Man hands. So to float, you with your hands. So you put your hands behind yourself like this, and you go forward. If you want to go up, you put your hands like this. If you want to go backwards, put your hands out. There's a button to just float and hover like he does in the movies. And then you no longer use your hands as rockets. Your feet get used as rockets, and you can do repulsor blast. Pew, 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 pew. You have a chest laser that you can power up, and it really feels like it's bursting out of your chest. And you have those smart missiles from Iron Man 1 where you go dee, 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 and then press the button, it goes pew, 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 pew.
Wow.
And you got to fly around all while doing it. You can use the controls to tab right and left to move around, but mostly you're doing Iron Man flying. It is a one-of-a-kind control scheme, and it's worth playing on the strength of that alone. Definitely a top-tier VR experience, even if the graphics are a bit low and some of the like I said, the interactables are kind of 2015 or earlier. But high hopes. This company, I guess, was bought by Oculus or something like that.
They did, yeah. That's why it's on. That's why it ended up getting
working on
everywhere
something else.
Yeah.
These guys showing great promise with this entry. I think they could really, whatever they release next is going to be really interesting.
That's cool.
A lot of fun. I mean, the enemy types are pretty simple. It's just ships. You just shoot them. It's just a bit of fun. But as far as VR titles go, it's a solid VR title.
Nice.
And the voice actors they're all familiar. I swear Jennifer Hale's one of them. Like, it's top shelf voice acting going on in this. And there's no uncanny Avengers Valley or Avengers Tower, uncanny Avengers Tower in this game, like there is in the Avengers game, where everyone just looks kind of like the cheap action figure versions of, of the actors.
Doubles. We couldn't get Robert Downey Jr., but we got his stunt double in here. It's great.
Yeah. Can you use other marks or just the Mark 2, 3? Like what?
I think it's just one mark, but you can repaint it.
Okay.
Like, there's different skins for it, and there's upgrades. And so you can hang out in circa Iron Man 3, I think, and Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 Stark House, where you're upgrading and hanging out with Friday, Pepper Potts, and this thing called Gunslinger. It's another AI that's Tony, but AI version called Gunslinger.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like you're talking to yourself, and anyways,
no.
There's a whole
Jarvis?
story. Ghost showing up. So the first villain that I've seen is Ghost.
Yeah.
And I swear it's Trisha Helfer that's voicing her too. So it's like really good talent. Like, this is really a AAA release, just a bit old.
I like the coffee simulator I'm watching here. This is interesting.
I love that so many VR experiences is like, yep, we really did this, and also a coffee maker.
You won't. Yeah, this is nothing. I think the most impressive VR thing I've done this week was in The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. You can find old cigarettes, and you can light them, and when you put them in your mouth, they're there. So in your periphery, you see the cigarettes sticking out, and you can actually smoke cigarettes in the game while you're walking around with a shotgun and a bottle of Jack Daniels. And I was like, this game is awesome. I recommend Iron Man VR if you're looking for top. The only thing I would say is just that interactive, the interactive stuff.
Yeah.
I don't I get that they want to make VR accessible, so they put a lot of safety rails on, but sometimes it's too much. It stinks. So, but the actual levels are fun when you're flying around at 100 miles per hour, shooting repulsors at people. Perfect.
That's cool.
Yep. So Iron Man VR, it's a recommend. If you don't want to, it's a premium price for VR title. I think it's like $50 Canadian almost. If you want to wait for sale, go ahead.
All right.
Now on to Surgeoneer. So click that link.
Okay.
This I bought in a lark because it was recommended to me by Meta, and I think we should listen to the audio. It's a 2-minute YouTube video, but I think we should. It's show and tell time. Let's watch this video.
Is this you playing here?
It's me playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get you some volume here, chat. We'll take a look at the
It's
screen.
on YouTube, so you should be able to.
Yep. Here we go. Turn it up a little.
Ugh.
Oh, jeez. This guy's in bed. Oh.
Oh shit! So I'm doing surgery on a guy with 8 nails in his face, and he's bleeding all over the place.
Oh my gosh, he got one in his eyelid?
Ugh.
That's rough.
Why isn't he asleep when you put him out?
So this game is called Surgeoneer.
Yeah.
They make a disclaimer that this isn't real medical procedures. It's more of a for fun game that's kind of medically adjacent.
Yeah. I'm glad they cleared that up, because how would I know otherwise?
I think the idea is it's just to have a bit of fun in VR, but it's actually hilarious. Like at one point I had to defibrillate a heart. I guess there isn't much to listen to except beeping for the podcast viewers, but
yeah. You're doing a lot of pulling out nails. I mean, how do you stop
pulling
the
out
bleeding?
nails. He's bleeding everywhere. At one point, I couldn't. I got stuck on level 3. I didn't know how to. This guy kept dying.
Yeah.
Like you have to massage. You have to give him a cardiac massage. Do you know what a cardiac massage is?
Yeah, you go
Heart
inside
massage.
and heart. You got Hawkeye did this on MASH all the time. You go into the heart and touch it and squeeze it and
Yeah,
make
get
it beat.
you stimulate it.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to cut into the body.
Oh yeah. You go in the chest cavity and massage the heart.
Oh, maybe that's what I was missing because I had to. So what you have to do in this level is put a breathing device on him and let him breathe, and it says give him a cardiac massage. And I kept massaging with my hand in the chest, and he kept dying. So I got to cut him open, and actually massage his actual heart.
Yeah, you got to squeeze the heart. You're not you know
Oh,
what? I'm not so sure you're a real doctor
level
anymore.
now with that tip. Yeah, because this game is full on. It's called Surgeoneer, so you actually have to do surgery. This is nothing pulling nails out, but it's just really funny because I'm having a good time.
It looks like a I'd love this kind of crap. This is some of my favorite kind of.
This is right up your alley in terms of like fun to stream because everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And it's not. You're not trying to really be a doctor, so it's fine.
It's kind of chore in a way, right? When you say a little chore here,
it's chore. I mean, it's surgery, right? You're just saving a life. Oh, and
good. Here, I'll play this. This is for you.
Work harder!
I don't get to play this enough. There's your chore for the week. Fantastic. Wow. Oh my gosh, you're spraying his whole face with this antiseptic.
I want to heal him.
Like a real doctor.
I just make sure he's good and healed.
Oh, it's amazing. Amazing. I love that. All right.
Yeah. Anyways, that game. So it's $11 Canadian. Awesome little VR game. I do recommend if it's to play with people. I think alone it might be not that interesting. Quickly as well, I played more Walking Dead. That game is a top-notch game. I'm gonna give it the definitely a VR must-play stamp of approval, which I've only really reserved for Half-Life Alyx for the most part.
Yeah.
This game is scary as shit. But it's only zombies and it's Walking Dead, and stabbing people is amazing because you stick it into the surface level of their head, right? The knife.
Yeah.
Then you got to force it in further. Like it doesn't just stabbing them, just doesn't kill. They don't just you did damage. It's like I got to stick it in and then I got to force it in farther, or else they stay alive. And sometimes you can get it first shot. Sometimes they're hard to kill. Yeah, if you get it in their eye, you got to get their brain. But I've discovered now if you wait certain parts of the day, you'll get overwhelmed with zombies. And there's not a lot of music in this game, so it can get very, very tense. I was very scared. Shortly, I'm going to get. I don't know if you're going to show the whole video, but I do get overwhelmed.
It's
love
almost
this game.
It's
Must
toward the
have.
end. Let's see when we get to where you're freaking out.
You really turned around on this too, because I think last week you were saying like, it's cool, but I don't know about its novelty. So you warmed up to it.
Yeah, so like the humans look kind of cartoony, like the zombies. Like it's not a fully realistic thing, but the atmosphere. Like I'm going into a crypt, and it just felt dark and scary, and it really sold me on things. Scott's doing his classic skip. Where I was like, just skip ahead 2 minutes. And he skipped ahead all the way to the end, and he's like, I don't know.
Here's
No,
Bo
he's
playing
like,
with his
you know
hair.
why?
Yeah.
It just doesn't let me. I can't scrub granularly here. It's 300. It's
like
3 hours.
a 3-hour VOD,
Yeah,
so
that's why.
a little goes a long way on the seeking, but it's fine. I don't mean to criticize your seeking. I'm not a backseat seeker.
Yeah.
But anyways, you got enough of that. But the best thing, the thing that really sold me on it was, and this is bad, I know I have to quit smoking, but you can find cigarettes and light them up and smoke them. And so before a light goes on and somebody leaves me a cryptic message and it's like, oh, I'll go out there in a minute. And I lit up a smoke and brought my double barrel shotgun. And I was like, all right, what does this person want? Going out there all Southern cool, like.
Yeah. You're just role playing, man. That's what that is.
It's fun, and there are NPCs in this game that give you quests, so there is a story too.
Yeah.
And so far, it's been okay, very light. But the best part is there's lots of notes and scraps. So you'll find photographs of like areas, and then you got to find them in the game world, and it's just well done. It's just as VR packages go, you can get a lot of great games, but they're light, right?
Yeah.
This is solid. I bought a game. I'm getting a full A to Z experience.
That's good.
And
Need more of those
options.
Need more of those in VR. So that's good to hear.
So Walking Dead's not my favorite thing. I just respect it because this is this is like buying a regular game. Like it's a game.
Nice.
So I like it.
Nice.
Next up, I played Runner, which is a $10 arcadey thing. I just thought you might be interested in this, Scott. It's really basic. You're on an anime bike, like Akira.
Mm-hmm.
You have a gun and a laser sword, and you just shoot shit. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. But it's in 3D and it's great. It's just an arcade game. But I thought I was actually I wouldn't say super impressed with it. Everything feels cooler because it's in 3D. Yeah. But you do feel like you're driving really fast. It's almost like Final Fantasy VII Remake where you're on these fast bikes, except it's in first person and you got to shoot shit while you're going 100 miles an hour. Really respected it because a lot of games try to make it, I don't know, safe or whatever. This game, the only thing is you don't really wipe out all that bad, which I think is a good thing. It's just an arcade shooter, but I like it.
Seems pretty neat. I do like that you started your sentence with, Scott, I think you'd like this. It's very simple, I think is what you said. I
didn't.
I know what you meant.
I didn't mean.
I know you didn't mean it that way. It just came off as funny.
Sorry, but yeah, you're right. Why would I? What was I thinking back then?
I don't know. You're probably like, hey, you like
a different person.
You're probably like, hey, Scott likes arcade action-y stuff. He's likes retro games.
I guess as a recommend, that's what I mean. It's like sometimes it's like I play Half-Life Alyx, and it's like, well, it's a 40-hour campaign. Like,
right.
I know you don't have a lot of time for things, so
sure.
I know you like to play a lot of things for short amounts of time, quick, and check them out. And this is perfect.
This sounds like one of
those. I played this for an hour, and I was like, cool, I'll come back and play it.
It seems visceral. This is an example of a game where you would never want to play this. I mean, you could, I guess, if you had some feelings for an old arcade game or something, but you wouldn't want to sit down and play this for a long period of time in a 2D world.
You can play this for 18 hours. This is an 18-hour game. This is like I want to play some VR for 30 minutes. Let me go on Runner.
But in VR, these kinds of things are so much better than they would be if they weren't in VR. So I like simpler experiences in VR because they tend to be more, they're just more visceral. You're right in there in the action. It's cool.
Yeah, like it doesn't really translate on the flat screen you're watching, but you really feel like, holy shit, I'm going fast. You look behind yourself and you're like, I should pay attention to the front. I might crash.
Do you steer in the game, or is it just auto?
Yep, okay. You do the steering. And so if you unholster the right gun, you steer with the left hand.
Yeah.
And if you unholster the left gun, you steer with the right hand. So it's ambidextrous because you're just going left and right. It's very simple arcade controls.
All right. And then
say simple, but it has a lot. You can pull out a gun. Mm-hmm. You can switch 3 different gun modes. You can pull out a neon sword. You can get a grenade. There's some other ability. And then you got to pay attention to what you're shooting. There's a lot going on, but it's still arcadey. It's not. There's no skill trees. It's none of that.
It's got that cool cyberpunk retro future stuff going on too, which I kind of like.
Yeah, and like voxely kind of graphics. Like again, probably small developer team, but
sure
reviews well, and I enjoyed it.
All right, very nice.
Yep. I'll get through the rest real quick.
Yeah.
I actually went on a desktop Dungeons bender this weekend. I have Death Stranding to play. I have all these games to play, and I'm like, I don't know what it was. I think I was just playing. I was like playing a bit of poker or something like that. I think at the time I was just in a tournament, and I was like, this is boring. So I opened up Desktop Dungeons and started playing it, and I got hooked on it, man. I was like, oh my god,
it's fun.
Like I just kept wanting to do. It's a puzzle game basically, but it's RPG-ish.
Sure.
I never really went as deep playing it as I did. Like I am far in it, and I think anyways, and I just couldn't stop playing all weekend.
I mean, I would call it a roguelike, right?
I'd say it's more of a puzzle game. It is randomly generated levels, so if that falls under the rogue aesthetic, right? Of randomly generated levels, so the levels are randomly generated,
right?
But it is a puzzle in terms of trying to. Yeah, it's roguish, like where you roll a different character each time. You try to do it under a different set of circumstances and stuff. But it's just solving it. It's not intuitive. It's not like beat all the monsters and win. It's like they're level 3. You get more XP for killing a higher level creature, but they're hard. I got to use my abilities in the right order. I'm going to go level off this. Like every move is a tactical strategy. It's just super simple and ends up being really fun as it ramps up in difficulty. It's great. It was released in 2013. It's a 10-year-old game, and it looks like it's 10 years older than that. Like, it's not. That's not a pretty game. Although, one of the developers is working on a graphical overhaul called Desktop Dungeons Rewind in the full 3D engine, which you may see linked on that Steam page somewhere.
That's cool.
Which is in, I think, not even early access. I think it's just announced.
Oh, look at that! I would play this.
Yeah. So Desktop Dungeons Rewind is TBA, and there's a demo, which I did download, but I didn't try because, I mean, the classic one's great. Part of the appeal of the classic ones is that it feels like you're playing Solitaire or Minecraft or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's just so, but I definitely going to spin up the remake version.
Yeah, I want to know more about this. Is there a date? I guess if there's a demo, it's probably
TBA. It's an indie team. So the people that first made it, I think it was a small pile of people, and they disbanded. That's why there's been no more from that developer. Yeah. So one of the developers, with I guess the blessing from the rest of the team, is working on this remake.
I think it looks cool. I would play this.
Yeah, it looks like they're neat. Anyways, so I'm all for it. But anyways, I just kind of got sucked into it because I also did try some Despots game.
Oh yeah.
And I was like liking it, but I wanted something more turn-based so I could walk away. And Despots is a little action. Yeah. I like it too. Anyways, last but not least, Desktop Dungeons. Go try it out. It's fun. Yeah. Last but not least, I tried Deep Rock Galactic VR.
It sounds like it is leased because it crashed every time you tried to play it, right?
Desktop, but let me tell you, I was in the hub. Yeah. Oh, and this game is. I was like, I'll just try it out, just to say I tried it. Like I've been meaning to do it. Yeah. I got into the hub and I was like, I like this. I remember how much fun I have with this game. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I pick a mission, get that drill down, and crash. Load it up, crash. Go to the troubleshooting site, crash. Do all kinds of shit, crash. Wasted a whole evening trying to get it to work, crash. I want to play this in first-person VR so bad now.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Because you forget, we haven't played Deep Rock Galactic in a while. This game we played a lot of and loved it.
I love that
game.
Laughs. Yeah.
And they've had a whole shit ton of updates. It looks like there's a whole shit ton of new stuff in there, and I'm like ready. I got my body ready for some dwarf action, and I got what do they say? Is it blue balls? Whatever. Like when you're just like not. You get Randy, but instead you get nothing. Whatever it is. Yeah. It's that kind of.
You need the whatever mustache thing you were talking about.
Whatever they call it. I don't know if it's blue balls. I think that's something different. It's just whatever. It's the ultimate letdown. Sorry, I don't know why I made it adult. Sorry, kids.
Sorry, kids. We got to maintain our PG-13 rating. It's fine. This game's amazing. I don't know why we don't keep playing it all the time. Probably just time and schedules, but it's so good. So good.
Yeah, but even on our own, like this game should be my life in a way.
Even like randos, it's a good experience kind of all the time. It's just a good game.
Yeah,
great. 2 years old now. Crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff, so I was looking forward to seeing some of the new stuff, but it's fine. I'll live. But at the time, I was super pissed. I wasted my whole evening trying to get to work. That's why I'm like mods, man. I love them, but please just make them work.
Make them work better.
Just make them magically work. People who make them for free, like just I don't mean to be a dick, but I'm like, I hate getting my hopes up and then it not working.
How hard can it be? All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to, what are we going to do? I know what we're going to do. When we come back, we're going to talk about Dear Martha, because that's always a thing. All right, so that's cool.
I just got to interrupt you because this is really good. Chat room says I got rock blocked.
Oh, rock block. I get it. That's pretty good.
Han Sanitizer is a bit of a genius, I gotta say, when
he's
it
a
comes to
smart
these
guy.
puns. I mean, Taz is pretty good too, but we got a great chat room for that stuff.
Well, I agree. We do. They're punny as
Rock
hell
block is great.
in there. But anyway, so after this break, Dear Martha, we got some more quick news and then some emails and texts and stuff. So stick around. We won't be very long. Welcome back. We're back. And you know what that means? Oh, gosh, it's time for Dear Martha. John puts these things together on the weekly. We got a real run here going with the magazine reviews from retro magazines. I love it. John, today looks like it's about the same as that. Do you want to tell anything else before I hit play on this?
Let's just go.
All right, here we go. Enjoy.
My dearest Martha, I don't mean to bring everyone down, but today's magazine is not as far back as some of the previous. Today we are looking at the October 2011 issue of GamePro, issue 277 to be exact. It's also the final monthly issue of GamePro, before one last attempt to evolve before their final quarterly winter 2011 issue. This issue starts with the words, "The end of an era, the beginning of a new one." A true statement, but not in the ways they mean. We've read a lot of letters from GamePro. It was always one of my favorites, but despite the hopeful optimism of the format change, it would not save the magazine from ending just one issue later. I mean, when has a format change ever really saved a dying product? I want to talk about ads, though. The frustrating visual part... sorry. I want to talk about the ads, though. The frustrating visual part of this week is a Got Milk ad, where a Team USA basketball player is standing next to a giraffe. That's it. That's as good as I found.
Uh-huh.
Tall animal, tall man, milk.
Just milk. That's
Hilarious.
That's like a baby giraffe, though, right?
it. Yeah. There's no way. That's Chris Bosh.
Sorry,
by
we're
the way.
interrupting the reading. Sorry.
That's Chris Bosh from the NBA back in the day. Anyway, yes.
John
Well,
is mid-performance and we're talking.
It's fine.
That's also part of the point. This issue is shockingly light on ads, and the ones that are there aren't very good. Just game art, and buy game because it is game text beneath it. If the start was a sad reminder of the life of print video game magazines coming to an end, the issue themselves is a testament to the shift they made from weird, sometimes cringy, but memorable content to whatever it is we have today. Maybe I'm just getting old enough to be overly nostalgic, but I like it all better when games and the culture around it was dumb. But I mention the lack of conventional ads because this magazine devotes 6 pages to talking about the future of 3D, talking about 3D movies, TV, conversion methodology, etc. Then 8 pages about schools with video game development programs, plus a smattering of ads for their own magazine and Blu-ray releases of movies. And it just paints a weird picture about what was content from magazines in 2011. That's the issue to a T, though, Martha. It just feels a little hollow compared to the fun novelty of the older things. It feels like something clinging to the last vestiges of relevancy. It can be seen in the letters section, which is now mostly just copy-pastes of forum posts. The overall magazine quality, which looks like it was run through a washing machine a few too many times. Hell, it's even weird just seeing the editors promoting their Twitter profiles. At least that's not in any danger of changing anytime soon, right? I hope beyond hope my next jump is further back, because for how weirdly fixated everyone seemed to be on nude codes, arcade machines, and the always silly console wars, the magazines were a lot funnier and more hopeful. Yours in time, S. Beckett 11.
Oh, man. This was almost a sad one. I will say this: I was looking at the cover of the magazine, and they got a thing in here. It says, "The history of video game torture porn." What is that about?
Oh, the depravity.
Oh, the depravity. It says underneath it. But what did you check that out?
I didn't even notice it.
Oh my gosh, it's right
They
there.
really painted it big.
Yeah.
And now that you say it, I'm like, oh, you know what? That would be an interesting article to read. I didn't see it. I got too hung up on like the 8 pages about video game colleges you can go to and why do they exist.
Yeah, it was a weird era, man. We were trying to
Oh, here
still...
it is. Here it is.
Okay.
It's, talking about games like... Here's the problem. Let me send you a quick snip of what this magazine looks like. When I tell you it looks like it got ran through a washing machine, I'm not exaggerating. This magazine is tough to read.
All right.
Because... Hold on. Let me just... figure out.
I'm just looking at Bo's baby face. Bo's baby McDonald's baby face here.
I can't even read the titles of the games that are in this list because they are so they're so hard to read.
They fuzzy.
How about that Avatar 2 mention?
Here we go. Here's your
12 years ago.
Here's your depravity article.
Oh. Okay. So this is like
do you see what I mean? They did like the lightest white blue text on a white background. It's like, what does that say?
Yeah,
what are we talking about?
Weird. Are they names of games? I don't think they're names of games.
I don't think they're names because one of them, it's a sim sadism and it's talking about people, and I did this, who would put their sims in a pool and then remove the ladder and let their sims swim until they drowned.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I don't think that's a name of a title. I think that's...
Yeah, they're just saying...
Sadism is in the...
And they mentioned the game lower down there.
Because the game, in the text they mentioned, embodiment of pain is painkiller.
Yeah.
Suffering for the intellectual is
Manhunt.
I have no mouth and I must scream. Yeah, Manhunt. Yeah. Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Apparently has virtual torture appears in Metal Gear Solid.
Does it really? I don't remember that.
It does. There's a scene where they shock Snake and
Chiller. I never played Chiller.
Right, but they call it torture porn, which sort of implies it's not just torture; it's torture that is.
Well, torture porn as defined by. Well, no, the torture porn's like Hostel or Cabin in the Woods or movies that are like really gory for gore's sake. So it's torture porn. It's kind of like food porn.
No.
When people say food porn, it's like, oh, look at these longing shots of food. I think that's what they mean. It doesn't have to.
Porn is when you tie someone up and do things to them and shock them with a cattle prod.
No, I don't think that's
Gim stuff.
I don't think that's it.
No, that's not what torture.
Yeah, that's
porn
not what
is.
torture porn is. The porn
it
part
can
isn't...
be that term can apply to that, but torture porn is when people glorify torture in cinema.
Yeah,
it's movies like Hostel and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's the definition. You can have sex stuff in it, but it's not defined by the sex stuff.
I will preserve the innocence of my friends and leave my explanation there.
I think, like, you've heard food porn.
I'm right.
You've heard food porn before, right? Like,
I don't care. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
food porn
that's not a sex thing. It could be. There could be someone that's like, here's food porn, and it's 2 cantaloupes on some melons.
Yeah.
But, like, the term food porn is gratuitous pictures of food.
Like fancier than you could ever make food at home.
It is the same principle for what is being used in this context here for torture porn.
Yeah. And here's your
glorification of torture for entertainment value.
Yeah, here's your
right now.
Here's your definition according to the dictionary. Film, informal censorus of genre of horror films, which sadistic violence or torture is a central aspect of the plot. So it's not sex per se. It can include it, but the whole joke is like, not joke, but the whole statement is like, that's like porn but with food, meaning it's gratuitous and ridiculous food photos and video. Or that's torture like porn. It's gratuitous and ridiculous and over the top and way too much of it. I think that's the definition. But it can include it. Okay.
Could be. Not, yeah.
Yeah, it can include it.
It's telling where our minds go.
Yeah.
I think I have the worst of it. So there you go.
Well, that I believe. All right. Well, that's awesome. Good job, John, as always. It is now time for us to rip through some final stories here. Netflix is making a Gears of War movie and an animated series. I'm fine with this. Go ahead. I'll watch this.
They got an okay track record.
Yeah.
Castlevania is good. Edge Runners is good.
Did you guys watch that Dragon Age Absolutions trailer that hit today?
No.
Netflix?
No,
I think
I
I put it in.
Yeah, I did listen to it. Listen to it. I watched it.
Listen to it.
Yeah,
with
it looks. We're in the era of the video game, anime, and TV show movies.
Yeah,
It's upon us. Seems decent.
Yeah, it looks all right. It seemed fun and funny, and it had a lot of voices we all recognize in it. I think
Has a bit of the weird we're medieval times, but women wear lipstick kind of vibe. I guess that does exist. I don't know. It just has there's a bit of a weird aesthetic, but it's fine. Just ignore it.
Sure.
But it looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, and we'll see. I don't know how much it will help or hurt or do anything to the expectations for the new game coming, Dragon Age, whatever the new game's called, but Dragon Age 4.
It did a lot for Cyberpunk. It might, if it's really good, it probably can generate a lot of hype for their Dragon Age game. For
totally
sure.
Possible. Yep. Let's see. That die in VR, you die in real life headset. Is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of this.
There's a link there. So some background on this.
There is?
Palmer Luckey, the Oculus founder, the founder of Oculus. There should be a link on the right side
There's
of that
no
article.
link.
Oh, no, there isn't.
Yeah. It's weird.
Okay.
There isn't.
I
I just typed it. I was lazy. I just typed
I
it.
meant
I didn't
to
even
do
know
it.
if we would talk
I
about
found it.
so
This
I
is
just put it
Palmer
on.
Luckey doing a thing?
So this is the founder of Oculus, who, is
He's a
I
turd.
think he's a bit of a screwball. But he posted on his personal blog that, because he left Oculus, but he's still working in VR AR for the military contracts. I think he's with Lockheed Martin, something like that. Could be wrong, but my sense is the guy likes guns.
Yeah.
The guy likes his First Amendment rights, that kind of deal.
Right.
But anyways, he made a headset that can kill you, a VR headset. And he's like, he hasn't made the software yet, but apparently Sword Art Online, popular anime. I've watched the first episode where you're stuck in an MMO, and if you die in the MMO, you die in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So he was inspired by that, I think, and and made a headset to support this. And it's like, oh yeah, how hard does it be to like put a barrel with an explosive shell on the headset? Like, when you really think about it, because at first I was like, oh neat, then I'm like, I mean, you can mount a gun on anything, right? But still, it's still kind of like, one step closer to a dystopia. Like, you kind of picture maybe in the future some megalomaniac billionaire sends out 100 headsets, makes a video game, puts a secret bullet in each of them, and Sword Art Online is no longer fiction; it's a real thing. And
that's an interesting concept, like conceptually. But it does require the dystopic society gets that far where people would want one of these headsets and hope that the bullet was in theirs, and you know what I mean.
I haven't. I think there's lots of anime for Sword Art Online. If memory serves, they were just getting into a beta of an exciting game by a good game developer. I don't think they realized they were going to die.
Yeah.
So they were tricked.
Right.
But still, I think we're like, we're this sort of news. You can already see Saw 18, where someone's like, "Hello, Bo. You gave up your actual reality to live in a virtual reality.
Yeah.
Now you're going to play for your life in this virtual reality.
Yeah.
Attached as a device.
Yeah.
If you die in the game,
Yeah.
you die in real
Hey,
life."
Saw, one of the original torture porn.
Yeah,
movies.
Saw's torture porn.
Yeah,
for sure.
Saw is torture porn by definition. All right, well, that's interesting. I don't know why he would do that, but Palmer Luckey is a little weird. So there's that. Also, Disco Elysium dispute got a little worse, got a little hotter. The fire got a little hotter. The ousted creators say the company was taken over by fraud, minority shareholders embezzling money, which it used to buy the majority of a trusted majority shareholder. Once the creators, the minority shareholders, started asking the new majority shareholders for financials, they fired the creators and began inventing allegations to discredit them. The company says these guys were kicked out for shitty behavior. And in a press release, they claimed it didn't work for 2 years, called them lazy, essentially, tried to illegally sell the IP, and were toxic to employees, including gender discrimination. They released this to combat the false accusations of the ousted creators. So that's the other side of it. The ousted creators are taking them to court, so we'll see how it all pans out.
Yeah. So that's the one thing, is this will get sorted on some level, I
Yeah.
guess, because they're going to. It's not like they got fired and just went to Twitter and be like, boycott them. They're just actually going to court, which is a big difference. Like with the the voice acting thing for Bayonetta.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's just so unfortunate. But I think in this case, so originally the creators were pulled a Helena Taylor and were very coy and wrote like in-universe fiction about their departure from the company. It was all very pretentious and highbrow, but absolutely unclear. So there is a better twit longer that's just written in everyday 21st century language explaining their position. It's like, it's very clear this person's making up false allegations about the gender discrimination and toxicity and laziness because they pulled a fast one. And I don't know who to believe.
That's some
You know,
dark
the
business.
marks of lazy people writing it in a fanciful, creative way, and then going, "Oh, that might be over people's heads. Let's also write it again in a simplistic way."
Yeah.
Truly, that's the quality I assign most lazy people.
Yeah, clearly they're very lazy. I feel like that this is a huge bummer. Not because these things don't happen in lots of other places, they do. It's just that this is the first massive hit and critical success and all the cool things that game represents. And to have all this going on behind the scenes is just such a kick in the pooper.
Yeah, the accusation on the part of the creators is the original majority shareholder, who was the investor, they trusted. But that guy sold it to someone else. And that someone else was also a minority shareholder that used the company's own money to buy its own shares. So they're like, okay, show us your financials. And then he fired them. So that's a kind of a big red flag. It's like, just prove to us you didn't use our money illegally to buy your own company out. Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're fired.
Yeah.
And then not show anything. So it looks pretty bad, but I mean, who knows? I'm not defending people, because next thing you know, like I said, they're pedophiles and all.
It is a case of we don't know, but I think in this case, like, you want to take a look at a game where they got rid of the creatives and the game won its merits on the backs of the creativity and the talent behind the art and artistry of a thing. And now they're looking at ways to monetize via, what was it? Are they doing
there
the
was
NFT
a job posting
thing, or
there was a job posting for a monetization expert looking for microtransaction expertise, things like that. Yeah.
I know that this is maybe my anti-corporate agenda showing here, but I'm inclined to side with the creatives on this one. It's not a hard
You want
jump.
a Disco Elysium mobile game where you can buy units of depression for $1?
That is in and of itself a unit of depression, just thinking about
I don't know how they'd monetize it.
As something else.
Yeah. It's like, let's see. Do you want to buy the calling your ex pass for $6.99? Like,
I hate
game
this.
is so sad, dude. It is so sad.
It is already, but it's a piece of work. It's art, and this stuff just sullies it all. It bums me out.
It's a bummer. But anyways,
All right. So there's that. Also, good news. John's highly regarded playthrough of Return to Monkey Island had me wanting to play it, but I just kept putting it off. Well, now I have no excuse. It's on Game Pass, and that was kind of a surprise. I don't think people knew that was coming, and it just happened.
No idea. I pulled up Game Pass. I was like, oh my gosh, there it is.
Yeah.
I'm still glad I bought it, because I own all the Monkey Island games, and those mean a lot to me. But it's a fantastic game.
Yeah,
you should try it.
I am very excited to play it. I think you convinced me today. I was teetering. I was either going to stream the top-down horror thing. What's it called?
Signalis.
That, or also on Game Pass, or Return to Monkey Island. I think I'm going to do Monkey Island.
You should do Monkey Island. That'll be fun, and a chat room can get involved with that, because they can help you pick.
Yeah, they can help me
dialogue
solve
options.
things.
They can point you in the right direction if you get stuck.
Sure.
I think Monkey Island's not a it's a game I played off stream because like those games feel a little personal to me. Like I like to go through those at my own pace, but I think adventure games are actually really good for streaming.
I do too.
As long as you say like, hey, no spoilers, because there will always be someone that comes in that goes, well, I solved this. All you got to do is give the guy the shoebox and open the shoebox and then take that. And it's like, okay, so you played the game. Let me play the game.
Yeah. Also, I'll bring mods along that'll just ban those bastards outright or time them out. How about that? Be warned. You've been warned, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. That's all she wrote for the news today that was worth repeating. Now these.
That's a good question.
Quick email. talktothecore@gmail.com is where you send these. This is Nate in Minnesota who says, Core Squad, I feel like I have to email you all for some weird reason to say thank you. I've been a listener of the Frog Pants content since 2009, starting with the instance and dabbling pretty much in all the podcasts up till now. I had pretty much stopped gaming for the better part of the last 5 to 6 years, mainly because I had a weird feeling that I couldn't play the latest and greatest AAA games, that I couldn't play. Wait a minute, I didn't understand the question. Maybe because I had a weird feeling that if I couldn't play the latest and greatest AAA games, that I couldn't play games anymore at all. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, FOMO.
I bought the newest consoles for my kids, but I didn't want to take their time away from me to play. I have always missed my gaming time. Listening to Scott talk about playing all these games that are older on Steam Deck and just loving his time with them ended up pushing me to purchase an OLED Switch, and now I'm having an amazing time playing titles like Stardew Valley, Nier Automata, and even Fortnite. He says he plays it with his son. I'm more of a filthy casual than I was prior to having kids, but I'm having a great time, or having way more fun gaming now that it isn't just a focus on games that either I can't play with my son or I can play semi-casually. Part of this switch is this thinking. I have to think is part of listening to your team talk about games. So anyway, your silly little podcast matters. Hope you all have a great day. Nate from Minnesota.
What a wonderful email.
Yeah.
I would say better to be a filthy casual at gaming than a filthy casual at raising your kids or providing for your family.
Agreed. Dude.
So you're doing it right.
I agree.
Don't worry about that. That's just for the always online 24 hours a day playing Hearthstone nerds.
Yeah, and they just haven't hit a part of their life where they have to
They chose a different life. They chose a different life. And that's all they have is to be able to call you a filthy casual. That's it. They go to bed at night and whisper that to themselves as they hug their pillows.
Yeah.
And some of them, they're mountains of cash.
And there's some who are well adjusted who do that and do fine and don't say shitty things about other people while they do it because they know that time's probably limited. They're not going to do this forever, so they're having the fun while they can.
True.
Those people exist, but the minute somebody says you're a filthy casual and means it in a mean way, F those guys. F them.
That's true. That's true. Good point.
F those bastards. Here's a couple of texts. I like getting texts. So do you at home, I think. So far, the response to these has been great. Here's one from September. Do you ever chore core in your dreams? Like, do you show... do you show an editing or shopping or something? I'm not sure that's what she meant. Anyway, then wake up and have the crappy realization that nothing is in fact done. Yeah. I have. It's usually when I played a lot of these things. So when I was playing electronics or electrician simulator, which I still really like and need to get back to soon because that game's great. I would have dreams about changing out light switches and fixing wireless controllers and making an old Walkman work again and stuff like that. That does happen to me. But then I wake up and none of the things in my real life I need to fix are fixed. They're all sitting there broken. So.
Yeah. I can't really think of any, John.
I mean,
you ever chore core?
No, I never chore core in my sleep. I just
in your dreams, not your sleep.
No, that never happens.
We don't want to know about what you do while you sleep.
What normally is happening is when I play them, I think, well, like if I'm doing house flipper, right?
Yeah. Like
I'm just thinking, like, man, I'm cleaning this house real good. And I become acutely aware of how messy my actual house is at the same time. And then it comes with guilt. And I just go, well, why am I spending my time cleaning the virtual house instead of the real house?
It's like this summer.
And then I turn the game off and I don't clean the actual house. Like, not to say that anything productive comes of this. I just go, all right, well, I just got to get rid of the guilt.
Yeah,
So
just
I
get
turn
rid
off
of the
the
guilt
game.
temporarily. I understand that. When I was playing
played-
that freaking lawnmower simulator and I was doing it in the summer, my wife was just like, "What are you really doing this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool, man. They've gamified mowing the lawn." She goes, "There's an actual mower right there and a lawn right there that we need mowed, and you're in here doing this." I mean, she couldn't understand it. She still doesn't get it. She still
I
loves
don't
me.
get it. I kind of get it, but I still don't.
It's
I
still
had a
the-
terrible dream after playing like 10 hours of Marvel Snap. I was so annoyed there were cards flying around everywhere in my face. But I don't remember the details, but I was just
While
I
the
was like,
same
"Ah!"
song plays over and over.
Oh,
and over.
I was gonna ask, was it accompanied by that incredible music track they used?
No, it wasn't the music. It was more just it was like, oh my god, I had enough of these cards. The superheroes, stop! Like they were just annoying me.
Picturing it. See?
Yo, I'm
yo.
playing Marvel Snap.
That's right. I'm
you ain't
Spider-Man.
crap. I'll give you a slap with the back of my hat.
And my hat is made of a kind of thing that no one knows about. So get off your thing. Word.
Yep, that was a long roundabout adventure to rhyme a word with the exact same word. Congratulations.
We created John's nightmare tonight. We were like, "Ah."
Well, now you don't have to have it in the night. You've had it live here on the show. All right, let's get to this other text here from an anonymous listener, it looks like. Hey, Core Hounds, every week I tune in with huge rage, knowing that all three of you have access to Death Stranding. It's on Game Pass, and Bo owns it. And yet you all deny the majesty of the game that is the pinnacle of Kojima, his crowning achievement thus far. It has so many cameos. Well, that's not a selling point to me.
Yeah, that actually kind of illustrates part of my problem with
Yeah,
Kojima.
yeah.
Like you've kind of leaned into like. Here's
What if the
thing,
cameo is George Miller and he's hinting because you just need to play it?
He's-
Or
he's like,
Tom
"Scott,
Hardy.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you about your new Mad Max sequel, just for you. It's a cameo just for you. Let me tell you my problem with Kojima, and I don't know if this is true. This is perception. I've never met Kojima.
Mhm.
I don't know anybody who does know him.
We should meet him when we go to Japan.
So let me be clear. None of this is confirmed. It is all speculative. But he seems like the person who is your friend until he makes better friends.
Oh,
Wow.
oh, damn. Okay, we're starting some controversy
So-
on Core.
Yeah.
The fact that like there's a bunch of celebrities and stuff in his game kind of just reminds me of the bad feeling I have about Kojima, which is that like he has these relationships with these people and it's like, all right, great, and then he makes friends with people in Hollywood and now it's all Hollywood people and all this stuff.
So it'd be like if
it's
I
all
met
Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro like doing stuff. Like that's all it is now because that's who his current friends are. And like, yeah, people are like, what about Jeff Keighley? Well, let me tell you, the day they start giving an Academy Award for video games is the day Jeff Keighley doesn't get a call back from Kojima ever again. They are done at that moment. It is over. So that's my impression of him. Now, that doesn't change the games. I love the Metal Gear Solid series a lot. I think Metal Gear Solid 5 is one of the best games I've ever played. I think it's a travesty that entire story didn't get played out. And I like it in spite of some of the things that I think are kind of shitty about that game, which is recasting the voice of Snake. I don't think was good. And I think it actually was a detriment to the game because I think it's pretty apparent that Kiefer Sutherland charges more per line than David Hayter does.
Yeah.
But all that said, I love the game. But I'll get to Death Stranding one day. I thought about it. The biggest problem is I did buy the game, but then they came out with the director's cut. And what I have isn't the director's cut, and now I'm aware of that, and it makes me not want to play the version that I have.
What's the
Do you
game
think-
you always say you spend more money on every time a new version? Oh, it's Destiny.
Destiny.
Yeah, that's what that reminds me of. It's like, oh, there's this now, and I just bought. Yeah, I mean, look, it's on Game Pass. That is the director's cut on Game Pass. So I think that's what I'm going to play. And I mean, Bo, why not you? You own it. How come you haven't played it?
I've
What's your
been
deal?
meaning to get to because I've talked about this before. I have literally 50 games I haven't played yet. I keep buying new ones without playing the ones before. It's on the list.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, and I've said it many times, open world, third person action games, That includes Elden Ring. Not my favorite genre. You give me desktop dungeons, I go at it. You give me Snap, I go at it. You give me esports, I go at it. You give me VR, I go at it. I am not the magic that people feel playing Legend of Zelda, going through fields and stuff, is limited in enjoyment for me. I pick up a piece every now and then. Witcher 3, great. Elden Ring, love it.
Yeah.
I can't play them all. It's tough. Someone, a generous viewer, BioFreeze, gifted me God of War yesterday.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez.
And I'm like, add it to the pile. Add it to the pile. I actually kind of want to get to that one. God of War seems kind of boss. And if I'm looking at Death Stranding, and I'm looking at Sekiro, 704's in there. He bought it for me as well. And I'm looking at God of War. I gotta say, old muscle-bound Baldy is winning out for me. It's if I'm gonna get to one, that's sort of the problem. And I think a lot of you guys are fans of the third-person genre and want me to play them, and I love you all for it. But it's tough.
Funny.
Death Stranding, I trust Ziggurat though. That Ziggurat bought me Death Stranding. And I trust him that I think it's one of those games where I'm going to kick myself and say, why didn't I play this sooner? This is weird and awesome. I mean, you can pee in that game.
Yeah, you can pee.
Why am I not playing that game? I mean, that should be interesting enough for me. Pooing and peeing is a theme with me on Core. It should be right up my alley.
Yeah, you love expelling fluids from your body, so why not? Video game?
Oh, Hans bought me. I'm sorry. I'm pissing off everyone who's ever supported me. Sorry, Hans.
Fine,
Hans bought it
I
for
just
me.
made everybody
Ziggurat
who
bought me a
likes
subscription.
Kojima mad. So
Yeah.
No,
I think
it's
you'll
my
be
fault,
okay.
but I want to double down on this Kojima thing because I think I've not double down. I want to ask you questions. Double down's the wrong term.
Okay.
Do you think Kojima is like the Harvey Weinstein of the gaming industry? Not because of the bad stuff, but because the industry hates him and it's like the worst kept secret. If everyone's like got to lick Kojima's boots, he's got to show up at the thing, but everyone's like, Kojima gets all this time at the Video Game Awards. What about For Honor? Or what about my game? Like, why does he get all the favoritism and really he's like not that good or he's an idea stealer or whatever?
Have there been
right?
reports like that? Have people said that sort of thing?
I don't know. Like, what's one of those
there
things
haven't
where
been. I think in general, Kojima gets, I think he's pretty well respected.
I think he's
not,
well respected. I think
he's
it's
not the one you hear like bad things about, but you also don't hear any amazing stories about him either.
Okay,
right?
wait. I got to interrupt. Chat room has just informed me of something that I can't ignore. You can pee and poo and throw pee-poo grenades in Death Stranding.
What?
I told you the interruption really worth it.
All
I
right.
don't like being rude to you, John, but pee-poo grenades.
Out of here, Kratos. We got pee-poo grenades.
Wait, so can you
board.
capture your pee and poo and make them into a grenade?
I assume that's what they're saying.
Yes, this is true. Okay, I'm playing
What?
Death Stranding.
Is that true?
That's all
Oh
it
my
took.
God.
That's
Why?
all it took.
What took you so long to say that? It's like been 3 years to
So-
say pee-poo grenades. I'm like, holy shit, I need to play this.
All it took was 3 words. You're all buying him shit and talking to him and sending in emails and texts and all
that's
this
the problem
stuff.
with
All
Kojima.
it took was 3 words arranged together. Pee-poo grenades.
That's the problem with Kojima. He's like, oh, Norman Reedus is in this. Let's play it. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
Pee-poo grenades. It should be like starring pee-poo grenades.
Like, forget about Norman Reedus. I'm only interested in the pee and poo grenades he makes.
Oh my god, that sounds incredible.
I mean, look, it's on your hard drive.
All
Ready
right,
to go.
guy. Listen, chat. Scott convinced me to buy a game. Chat room, you are convincing me to play Death Stranding.
Play a game.
It
Yeah.
may be- Oh shit!
John's camera just went to garbage. John,
no.
you there? Did we lose you?
What happened?
I don't know.
It's so adorable. I feel so
We
good
can hear
about
you.
the fact that you're not here, just because that symbol's so lovely. And
I
that's
just
good.
got a message like, "Hey, Zoom quit unexpectedly,"
Oh, that's weird. You're back in now. I see you now.
and then now Zoom's like, "Hey, do you want to help us solve the problem? Something weird happened. I'm not gonna
What's
tell."
really
them."
weird is
We're doing a show, Zoom. Leave us do your job.
for some
I
reason-
think it actually, oddly enough, I think it had to do with ad block in Google Chrome because I got a notice about ad block in Google Chrome right before that happened.
Oh,
So
weird.
that shouldn't connect, but apparently it does.
Wow. All right. I can't explain it either. I don't know what's going
All
on.
right, I'm installing Death Stranding, so my voice might get choppy for a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
Bo can't wait for pee poo grenades.
Yeah,
He's
pee
like,
poo
"Oh,
grenades
shit."
are here to stay. All right. Well done. Hey, by the way, I want to mention some stuff about our new patrons. I don't know where you guys are coming from, but I love that we have new ones every week. And we have a stack of new people. Jim Jensen. I know him. He's great. Ken Cruz, Steve Robinson, Maniac Medic, and Gary Boldy. Garibaldi. Garibaldi. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Yep. Just keep saying it till it sounds like a real name.
It started to sound like a real name toward the end, but I'm really happy that you five have joined us this week alone, and there are great reasons to do it. You're never going to hear another commercial. You are going to get pre-show content every week. This week's was great, I thought, and monthly benefits that are only available to patrons. So go sign up today if you haven't already at patreon.com/core show. Everything else is over at frogpants.com/core. All right, so do that. I guess that's it. Bo, how's your install going?
It's going great. Am I coming through clearly and everything?
Yeah, you sound fine. You sound good.
Wow. You guys, this is what you guys sound like.
Really? Do we sound bad? Oh, it's because you're doing...
I can still make things out, but it's like the digital distortions happen.
His download is being destroyed, but his upload's fine.
Yeah, your upload's all
I've got gigabit download, but I have an unleashed throttle on Steam, so I'll download 80 gigs in like 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
John lost his thing again, yeah. Look at that. Yeah. It's weird. Something's interfering with that.
I'll close Chrome. Fine, I'll close Chrome.
No, this is a good time for this to happen. This is better now than later. Or earlier. What am I saying? I don't even know. That's it for the show, everybody. I do want to say that. And before we get out of here, we'd like to have old lady Jagger remind everybody the games that we played today so that you can go buy them. And boy, you're going to get in the mud over here with Bo's list. But let's do it anyway. Hey, old lady, say the words.
Some of you are curious what the boys are playing, and you want to be like them, don't you? And you want to play the video games. Well, here's how you do it. The ones that a couple of them played was Marvel Snap. That's free. You can get that right now if you want, but then they're going to come after you. So be ready. That Ben Brody's a wily one. He'll get in you with his voice. And then next thing you know, you're giving him money. Overwatch 2. That's a game. And then Bo and Scott felt the need to tell us that they bought Among Us VR. It wasn't an endorsement. They just told us about a thing they purchased. So there it is.
Grandma.
John played a DLC and thought that was important. So, if you like downloadable content, you can play Shadow of Rose for Resident Evil Village. And then he also played Signalis. That's the isometric horror game. And he played Fortnite again. And again. And again. Bo played Iron Man VR and... Surgeoneer? What?
It's
Surgeoneer.
Surgeoneer.
Grandma, it's called Surgeoneer, okay? Get it right.
Yeah,
what?
Grandma. Come on, Grandma.
Okay, Surgeoneer, that's a word, I guess. If you're living in VR, kids plugging in your headsets, making up shit. Walking Dead, Sinners and Saints, that's also VR, so, expensive experiences. Runner... if you didn't know that VR is in its early days, you do now because they can get names like Runner for a video game. It's not taken. It's free. You can call a game Runner and it'll be fine. And then he played Desktop Dungeons, which is as old as me.
That was great. All right. Well done. That's it. That's the show. Go play some video games, you weirdos. We'll be back next time. Next week, by the way, it'll be Friday because I'm out of town on Thursday, but I'll be back Friday afternoon and be here in time for the show. So we're going to record Friday evening next week. But we'll be here, and hopefully we'll see a bunch of you guys then. For me, for Bo, for John, we'll see you guys all then. Bye.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
I don't believe in magic.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow.